What's up and welcome back to where it all began. Kind of Funny's MCU in review. Of course, I am Tim Geddes. Today I am joined by the Nitro Rifle, Andy Cortez.
Hey, Tim.
The Big Daddy himself, Greg Miller.
Hello, Tim.
And the producer/seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Timothy.
Now, I want it to be known as soon as possible, so you have your chance to leave. This is spoiler-filled. If you want a spoiler-free review of Deadpool and Wolverine, we already did one of those. You can check it out over on the YouTube channel or the Screencast podcast feed. But from this moment forward, it's full spoilers for this movie. We're going to get into every single plot point, talk about every single reveal. So you do not want to be spoiled on this one. This is definitely a go out and see it as soon as you can movie if you give a shit at all about spoilers. But for everyone else that's here, whether you've already seen the movie or you just don't care, y'all are about to get spoiled. And all day, I've been wanting to do something that I haven't been able to do because everyone in the office has seen the movie except for Barrett Courtney. Barrett Courtney in the office.
Protesting.
Listening to things, running shows, doing stuff. I got a shirt. I got a shirt that was just a time thing. I got this shirt watching X-Men 97. When that was all happening, I Instagram targeted. And I was like, this shirt is hideous. I need it.
Yeah.
And so I bought it. Totally forgot about it. It shows up in my house last night. And I'm like, oh, I am wearing this tomorrow, but then I realized people are going to think it's a spoiler, and it is a spoiler. So I'm going to show you all right now.
Oh, yeah.
You are wearing it.
I forgot to wear it.
Take it off. Take it off.
Yeah!
Take it off.
Tell me this isn't the greatest worst shirt of all time.
I'm sure
It definitely looks like you're in your Big Brother shirt.
It's huge,
You know what I
everybody.
mean?
You look like you're in spring break in Florida.
I love it, dude. Spring
It
break.
You're a co-ed.
It kind of looks like you're wearing a comforter for like a hobbit,
It feels like a moo-moo.
like a
You know
hobbit
what I
bed.
mean?
It
I can
feels
tell you what, I'm comfortable, and I'm also very hot.
I don't know what a muumuu
It
is.
kind
You're
of looks
wearing
like
two
a
shirts.
body pillow cover.
You don't know Moo.
It does.
Is a muumuu like a snuggie?
No,
Moo is
it's
like a caftan.
A what?
So, you know what? I took a shot on that one, Greg, and I knew he was going to know that one either.
It's basically like a giant dress that people wear. There was that famous episode of The Simpsons where Homer gained all the weight. He wore a muumuu.
Oh,
It's like the Golden Girls used to wear muumuus
I just
a lot,
hear
or caftans.
I just hear Nick always go muumuu, Mookie.
Well, that I stole from Rob Schneider in
Rob
50 First Dates.
Schneider.
Where he goes, I'm just kidding, moo moo.
Oh,
kidding, muumuu.
really? I
Why
didn't
was
know
his
that.
name muumuu?
We're getting lore.
Everybody.
Also, I want to shout out, oh, damn it. I forgot who sent it to me on Twitter. The person who sent me the clip from Cuffs about the guy saying, never trust a bald barber. He has no respect from your hair. And I could not remember. I've said that a couple times. You guys probably don't remember, but I've said it a couple times. And every single time I say it, and I swear to God, I thought it was from a different movie. Shout out to you.
Shout out to
internet.
you, the internet. Oh, speaking of the internet, everybody, thank you for watching us each and every week here on In Review, where we rank, review, and recap different movie franchises. Of course, this is the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We've been reviewing it since back in the Infinity War days. Leading into Infinity War, we watched all of them, or rewatched most of those movies. And then since then, we've been watching and ranking them as they come out. But we're now in a very interesting place, like more so than ever. We've gotten teases before, but as of this movie, it is all just one cinematic multiverse. And the last couple weeks, we have been going back and adding some of the old school Fox movies like Elektra and Daredevil into our rankings, and Deadpool 1 and 2 as well. Now, of course, we're going to be ranking Deadpool and Wolverine in this. Next week, though, we're all hyped up on the vibes right now, on the Logan vibes. So we are going to do Logan, a rewatch of Logan next week, which we haven't done in many years at this point. And I'm excited because the reason we're doing this, besides just being all hopped up on the Jackman,
Jackman.
it's
Spoilers, he's in the movie.
exactly, is Kevin, if you can bring up those rankings one more time. in the last couple of weeks, we did add a new last place here at number 50.
That's not the newest ranking, Kevin. The new one would be in assets.
So then at number 51, Elektra, holding in the last spot. So I want to know, how high would Logan get? I know we hold the movie in very
now
high
it's officially
regard.
MCU.
So that's the thing. Where would we put it? Is it
Whoa.
number 1? I don't know. We're going to have to rewatch it, and next week we will all find out together.
We got to rewatch all the X-Men movies and bring them back in
Over
too.
time, I'm sure. I guarantee at some point that will happen. But
God,
no time
no,
soon.
fuck,
I
please, no,
promise.
I was joking.
I know,
Don't make
I
me
know.
watch New Mutants
But that's the
again.
thing. We're getting through them though. We're getting through. Anyways, this is in review. Like I was saying, we really want to thank our Patreon producers: Carl Jacobs, Nathan Lamoth, Karen Lindner, Fargo Brady, Alex J. Sandoval, James Hastings, and Casey Andrew for making this all happen. You can become a Kind of Funny member over on Patreon or YouTube, and you get the shows ad free. You can watch them live as we record them, and you get a daily exclusive Greg Way, which is fantastic stuff. You definitely want to do all of that. We're brought to you by the Portillo merch line, but we'll tell you all about that later. Arf. Deadpool and Wolverine, released on July 26, 2024, directed by Sean Levy. He's worked across genres and is perhaps best known as the director of the Night at the Museum film franchise and the primary producer of Stranger Things on Netflix.
I did not know that.
The last couple Ryan Reynolds projects have also been directed and co-written to some extent, including this one, were Free Guy and The Adam Project. And then
I like the Adam Project. We don't talk about it ever.
I don't know what that is.
enjoyed it. You enjoyed it.
Sounds like
You
a
watched
reality
it?
show.
I did not
You
watch
guys
it.
are
no. Did not watch
psychos.
it.
Come
the
on.
time travel one.
Yeah, anytime you got time travel involved, I'm in there. You got Mark Ruffalo. You got Jennifer Garner. I'm in.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you ever watch the one with Guy
Ferrari.
Pierce? Guy Pierce. The time travel one where like there's like these crazy sort of monsters. Oh, that's the Adam Project. Oh, they got Ruffalo in there.
Yeah.
I know you said that, but
And Gamora. They got
I was kinda
Gamora,
spacing
Elektra.
out. Oh, I was
Is that what
gonna.
it's like being with me?
Well, I was thinking about the Time Machine movie. Kevin, can you look up the Time Machine movie? Pretty sure it's Guy something. And there's like these
one who
scary
married Madonna?
monsters. Yeah, that's the one.
Really? I thought he was a director.
No,
I
that's
didn't
Guy
think he
Ritchie.
was.
You're talking
that-
about the star guy.
I'm thinking
guy.
Pearson. I'm thinking Pierce.
Yeah, Guy Pearce is the guy from Memento.
This is a scary movie. This is a show. This is a movie that always showed like at 3 p.m. on HBO on a fucking random
like to play
weekday.
games, too.
Here it is.
The Time
Oh, it's just called The Time Machine.
Yeah.
Never saw
The
this one.
H.G. Wells.
I'm glad.
classic,
no
The
hot
Time
tub
The
in
Machine.
fact that
sight.
it's got a 360p image isn't driving.
I mean,
home.
that's doing
I'm sorry,
it a lot.
It's actually something there in the tab. 220.
Those are some high pants.
Anyway, that movie really freaked me out. Maybe give it a shot. Time.
Yeah. I mean, as a monster movie though, like I'm more about like just time travel.
Well, there's like
Oh!
these things. Yeah, these
That
things.
is freaky, dude.
And I don't know what the plot was
Now
about.
I'm in actually.
I don't know what the plot is
Dark
about, but I'm just
Crystal.
gonna throw a prediction out there because I've seen a bunch
Can we
of times.
do the trailer?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. Throw a
Let's watch
Kevin,
it.
can we
for the
watch the
time-
trailer?
the
When do you have to go to
Time
the
Machine.
airport?
I'm fine. I got plenty of time.
Trailer for the time
I was gonna
machine.
kill a half hour here anyway. Let's rock.
I gotta
Let's watch the
assume.
movie.
I gotta assume that's what humans turn into later. That's just me making an
Or
educated
what
guess.
we were before.
That's the big twist.
I always get that movie confused with, I think Paul Walker did a movie where they go to the future, the butterfly effect kind of thing, where they go back and step on something and come back and there's leaves everywhere, like vines everywhere. We don't even go down
Jumanji?
that rabbit
Here we
hole.
go, the Time
No,
Machine
Time Machine.
theatrical
2002.
trailer.
Look at that, 2002.
Whatever happened to Guy, whatever this guy
he's
is?
still around.
What's he do? He did fucking Iron Man 3.
Our next stop is Antiquities.
Yeah,
Make
answer
sure
your own
that your
question.
New York.
microscans are charged for download. Let's go. And Tommy.
Damn, I don't remember
Turn it
any
up.
of this in the movie.
I love those secrets your DNA, so help me.
This is it though. Yeah, there it is. There he is.
How may I help you?
Orlando Jones.
Orlando Jones, make 7 Up
I'm
yours.
in. I'm in.
Over here.
I love
area
him
of
from
inquiry.
Evolution.
She came to my
Time
middle
Machine was
school
written by
once.
H.G. Wells in 1894.
Give me some
It
of
was
those.
later adapted to a motion picture by George Powell and a stage musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, which ran on
that's
Broadway
not
for
what I
23
mean.
years. Would you like to hear selections from the score?
No.
There's a place called Tomorrow.
Is this really the trailer?
This is a long. Is this just the
Will there be
movie?
anything else?
Oh, it is a theatrical trailer.
This
Can
is how
you
we
just-
used to do back in the day.
Can I just skip forward to see the
No, can we
monsters?
just fucking?
Okay,
I'm
I'm sorry.
in.
You're
I'm
right.
in. I'm in.
He's in. He's in. Sorry, Chad.
Is he H.G. Wells?
Travel. It's possible.
I think this is based on the
This
book,
world.
right?
What is the book was written by H.G. Wells? He said there.
Yeah, but I don't.
What do you mean? Based
Ah.
on-
World Chancellor.
I never read the book.
The big problem is he wants to time travel to save his wife, but can't because
This.
he wouldn't make the time
all of
machine.
this. No such thing.
Oh, that's badass.
Why is it?
That is badass.
To have a question answered. Why can't one change the past?
I mean, look
Why
at
would
this
you
vibe.
want
It's
to?
making a Bloodborne movie.
You lost someone you loved very much.
This fucking suit.
Here's the whole movie.
Back
I know this
to
trailer
the
sucks. Stop up, man. I'm gonna
Well, I
watch
just want to
it.
see
sure
the
I'd watch
monsters.
it.
I want to see the
I'm
scary
pretty
monsters.
I'll watch it. I'm gonna watch it.
That's scary because the monsters remind me of the Gorgonites.
tell you what you
For
should
audio
watch.
listeners, if you've ever seen Small Soldiers, they remind me of the Gorgonites.
Oh shit! You're
What
right.
I'd like to point out is that we really don't give enough credit for the fact that there were multiple episodes of Lois and Clark where H.G. Wells showed up in a time machine. Heads up, we did that.
Multiple
They
episodes,
did
huh?
that. They did that.
Multiple? I would have put the under if you said 0.5. I would have said there are none.
Sean Levy, though, also directed Cheaper by the Dozen.
Oh, good movie. That's a good one.
And Nick, this one's for you.
Yes,
so
give
it's
it
all
to me.
connected because I was talking to you about Free Guy and Adam Project. That's the Ryan Reynolds side.
Mm-hmm.
But where did the Jackman get involved? Do
Yeah.
you know the answer?
No.
Hugh Jackman, star of the hit movie
Swordfish?
Real Steel.
No
Oh,
way.
right on.
Real Steel.
That's another HBO
Oh,
at
yeah.
2 p.m. on a Tuesday
Never
afternoon.
seen it, but I want to desperately.
It's
very
pretty cool.
weird.
I liked it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And enjoyable.
Yeah.
Enjoyable. I remember,
For some
yeah.
reason, I thought this was going to be a Nick movie.
No, I just remember this is one of those where everyone criticized it because like we really are out of ideas now.
Is the bad guy in that movie from District 9? It's
Sharp
fucking
Lake
Bronxman, yeah.
Yeah, I could not tell you. I saw it one time. I was like, well, that one's. I don't need to ever worry about this movie.
Thought my
ever
keyboard was my
again.
laptop. I was about to Google it.
I do want to give a shout out to Greg's earlier question. What's Guy Pearce been up to? As of 2012, he did the movie Lockout, which I
2012?
fucking loved. If you've never seen Lockout, it's awesome. He's a like a badass mercenary, and they hire him to go up to a prison in space and break out the president's daughter or some weird shit like that.
familiar. That
It's
sounds
fucking
familiar.
rad.
Sick. This one had a runtime of 2 hours and 8 minutes.
Oh, sorry. Charlton Copley and Hugh Jackman were in Cheppy.
Cheppy, I am Cheppy.
He was the bad guy. I don't know why that's impressed. Why is
That's
that
not what he sounds like.
at all?
Spot on.
His name's Cheppy. What, is he slowed down?
The Planet of the Apes, or no, what's got the Godzilla, King Kong. God
These sick monkeys.
Music by Rob Simonson, who's best known for his scores in 500 Days of Summer, Gifted, The Only Living Boy in New York, Ghostbusters Afterlife,
There you go.
The Adam Project, and The Whale. This one had a budget of $200 million. A couple things there.
Not bad.
That, I mean, no, actually, pretty bad. Pretty
Oh.
bad. I'm like, that. I was like looking at this, I'm like, that sounds like a lot.
I feel like I'm used to all of them being 250 plus.
Well, so that's what's interesting here. So the situation goes as follows. Obviously, a lot of stars in this movie, a lot of cameos, a lot of people you got to pay. You got to get Jackman back, right? That's going to be a pretty
The
penny.
Jack is back.
But on top of that, the writer's strike really messed things up for this movie and kind of like caused a lot of budgetary
Okay.
issues there. But what's interesting there, $200 million, not necessarily the most expensive movie, but when we think back to Deadpool 2, $110 million, and Deadpool 1, $58 million. These Deadpool movies are kind of known for being like on the lean side. And I was like interested in where would the $200 million put it ranked against the other MCU movies. It is tied at 7th place. But what's interesting there is it's a little misleading because there are about 4 movies tied at 5th place, 3 things tied at 6th. So it's like there's just a lot of the
Give
movies.
us 5, 6, and 7.
So
what are we doing?
I'll just go down from the top. We got Avengers Endgame at $400 million.
That's how much that movie cost? Jesus Christ, that's wild.
It's got a lot of people, right? Like that's all the budgets
Man,
of salaries,
jeez
right? Or,
Louise.
whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Cast. Avengers: Age of Ultron, $365.
Yeesh, that's so bad. That's one you look back and regret.
Vader. You know
Should've
what
taken
I mean?
that
That guy needs to get paid.
Is he coming into the wrestling match?
Vader. He's closing out the game. Let's go.
Back, it's MCU review, baby.
Avengers: Infinity War at number 3 at $300 million. The Marvels at number 4, $275 million. Again, this had a lot to do
Money
with
well
strikes
spent.
and a lot of
Stuff,
issues
yeah.
there. Then number 5, we got a multi-way tie with $250 million. Civil War, Thor: Love and Thunder, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, and Guardians 3. Again, a lot of those kind of stuck in the pandemic writer's strike, just like the back-to-back get
Wakanda
bumped.
Forever had to be
Yeah, let's
reshot
market
as
it for
well,
a
right?
bit,
That was
too.
Chadwick Boseman.
That
Let's
too.
market
That
it.
was
Let's
a
also
tough one.
remarket it again.
All that stuff,
Yeah.
right? And then number 6, $225 million, we got the Avengers. Then number 7, we have a many-way tie with Iron Man 3 at $200 million. Iron Man 3, Guardians 2, Black Panther 1, Black Widow, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, and Deadpool and Wolverine. So
Interesting.
I was just a little bit surprised to see that 200 number. I thought it was going to be a bit lower than that. But I don't really think it's going to matter too much because obviously the movie's not really out yet, so we don't have box office numbers. But the projections are off the damn
It's gonna
charts,
do well.
everybody.
It's climbing.
It seems like it is going to easily be the highest grossing R-rated movie of all time. But on top of that, the question is, how high is it going to go? Just on the highest grossing films of all time. We'll have to wait. We'll have to see. But I do think it's going to get pretty damn high. And another fun fact about this movie, because of it, this weekend, the MCU will be the first franchise to ever gross $30 billion.
Whoa.
$30 billion.
R.I.P. Fox.
Dollars.
There you go.
Shit is wild. So there you go. That is all the facts of Deadpool and the Wolverine. Now it's time to give our opinions on the movie. Andy Cortez, I want to start
Tim.
with you. What'd you think of it?
I really liked this movie. I think there's a lot of stuff I'd fix, but damn if I wasn't smiling and laughing the whole freaking time. Super hilarious, and not just funny because of breaking the fourth wall and giving you cameos that you had no idea. I'm so glad I had none of this spoiled for me. I haven't seen an MCU theory TikTok in ages. It's just so far out of my algorithm that like I didn't even have a chance to try to get spoiled, and I'm so happy for that because I was smiling the whole time with everything that was being revealed to me. And again, the humor that didn't have to do with any of those, just like, hey, this is shocking, and you're gonna laugh because of how shocking it is. The comedic writing in this movie was just like so fucking good, and the highs in this movie are so astronomical. And there's maybe 3 or 4 sequences that I'd be like, we gotta cut this. That's way too long. I know that this joke is for you, Ryan Reynolds, but like, man, like it's going on way too long, getting way too self-indulgent here. Let's pare this down a little bit, and it could be like S-rank type movie, but I really, really enjoy it, and I want to see it again in theaters. I had a freaking blast watching this.
Try to feel the vibes out because I know how Nick feels. I don't know how Greg feels. I'm going to go to Nick.
Okay. I enjoyed the movie, but I was a bit let down. I think this is the first of the Deadpool movies where the rated R rating did not work in its favor. And it's weird to say, but I did not feel the chemistry between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman as much as I wanted to. It just, a lot of the movie worked for me. I enjoyed watching it. I'm sure I'll watch it again, but it wasn't as tight and sort of impactful from a humor standpoint as Deadpool 1 or Deadpool 2 for me. And I think it is one of those things where you've got a lot of other stuff going on. You got a bigger budget. And I think, unfortunately, it didn't force them to have to kind of kill their darlings on this one a little bit. One of my weird pet peeves throughout the entire movie was how many times Wolverine says the word fuck, which after a while I was like, it's like a lot. And I don't know why they're
He's a bad
defaulting.
boy.
Yeah, but great.
I thought Logan did that a lot too, right?
I don't think, I mean, we'll see. We'll watch it next week, but I think they
Then
were a
you'll
little
go
bit
back and
more
counter.
I think they were a little bit more discerning with how many times he punctuated things with that, because I think that was more of a character-driven movie. Obviously this was sort of a fond farewell to a bunch of characters that none of us really care about, which in and of itself I realize is a hilarious meta joke. But you get to the end of the movie and the credit sequence where we're seeing all behind the scenes stuff for the X-Men movies and some of these other movies, and I'm like, when they got to Michael B. Jordan as Johnny Storm, I was like, what are we doing? Are we really saying bye to these characters? Are we making fun of this? I'm not quite sure what the vibe is supposed to be on this.
You're just like the Fox era, right? Kind of.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't think as fond. I don't think as fondly of the Fox era as I think maybe you guys do. But ultimately, enjoyable movie, fun, fun action sequences, but not one of my favorites.
Gregory Miller.
Timothy Geddes. I adored this film.
Oh, there we go.
I loved this film. This was one of those where when we're getting deep into that second part or second half or whatever, I guess, the third act. This fancy film people would say. I was like, I don't want this to end. I don't want this to end. There was a point where it's like in the middle of the movie where maybe it was when Wolverine and Deadpool got away from the Ant-Man and Catman and were walking in looking for spam in the thing or whatever. Maybe it was one of the other times where I was like, man, we're just walking and talking. This is just people in costumes walking and talking, and then fucking amazing fight scenes. I'm like, I adore this. I love this. I'm so happy with this, and I like the interplay between them, the cameos, the humor, the action. You know what I mean? As I have said, I usually stay away from in review outside of superhero stuff, right? Because John Wick, I just no interest. I don't care. I don't blah blah. You know what I mean? Like all the different things. I was riveted with every action scene in here. I thought they were so good. And Jen put it so well on the way home. She's like, they were sex scenes. Like every one of these is like, I'm like, damn, which reminded me so much of how you talked about Challengers, Tim. The first time when you came back from seeing Challengers or telling me about it, I'm like, fuck, that makes so much sense of like, yeah, I
to
thought
be clear, I'd like, I'll part of that, like, because everyone thinks Challengers is just a bunch of sex scenes.
Oh no,
I would say the tennis matches were very clearly like a sex scene.
And so yeah, like
always think it's
I on the escalator down from the theater with Jen, I was like, the bummer is that I wish this was on Disney Plus right now. Like I want to go home and watch it again, and I know I won't make it back to the theater during this run to actually see it again. Loved it. If I had cons outside of, I'm sure I'll agree with some of the cons here, but like my biggest sticking point, like, oh, that sucked, was the ending, or like the actual ending, where it was like no fun credit scene. We got the Fox thing, which was like, I thought was making fun of it more than anything, because I think they did that once before, right? And I want to say on like a DVD extras, because I know I've seen a lot of that footage from watching every fucking X-Men DVD extras back in the day. And then the after credits, I was all of that. I was like, oh, this wasn't fun. Usually the Deadpool credits are so much fun, I thought, just to get here and have that be the ending. Like, I could have gone for, I would have rather ditched the 20th Century Goodbye, put a fun mid credits in, and then put a stupid end credits in. But I mean, that's my only note. I loved this movie.
I cannot wait to see this movie again. I'm seeing it tomorrow, 6 p.m. in Dolby. Can't freaking wait to be in an audience full of people that have been anticipating this in a full theater to like actually react to all the insanity that's here, because I cannot believe how much insanity is in this. This movie is a thing of dreams. It is an event film that is up there with any event film. I can't believe what they were able to pull off. Last week on Interview, I said going into this that I predict, or I'm hoping, my hype levels were so high that I was like, I'm going to be disappointed if this isn't in my top 5 of all MCU. It is not, but I'm not disappointed. I feel like this movie was able to surprise me in ways that I wasn't expecting, and kind of seeing it come together. And like by the moment it ended, I was like, God damn, this is the movie it needed to be, more than just the movie I wanted it to be. I really cannot wait for this weekend with Comic-Con. I feel like this movie is the perfect setup to get where we need to be to fix the MCU. I'm of the opinion it doesn't need much fixing, but it needs some direction. It needs some tightening up. And I can't wait to see where it all goes, because to me, this was such an amazing integration of the Fox universe into the MCU, and dealing with it, and kind of this movie cutting out all the bad parts that we don't need. I love that we didn't get the X-Men in this. We don't get the star players. We don't get Magneto or Professor X, because we're going to later. This was the way to make all the jokes, get the Human Torch stuff out of the way that I've wanted to see. We've wanted to see the Chris Evans, like, oh, you think it's him, but it's actually him. That's been like a theory thing forever. They pulled it off, and it was so well done.
I'm glad I didn't know anything about that, because I was completely caught off guard. Like, that stuff is great.
But that's when I say theory, I don't mean theory for this movie. I mean, whenever anyone's talked about Secret Wars, it's like, oh, imagine if he's there and he says "Flame on" instead of "Avengers Assemble." Like, they did that. The Channing Tatum bit, like, are you kidding me? The Wesley Snipes being in there was just
never even got a chance to tell our story or whatever the fuck he says.
One of the funniest ongoing bits I've seen in a movie in a long time. I freaking Nick, tell me, did you like that?
The Wesley Snipes thing got me.
The Channing Tatum.
The Channing Tatum I did not like.
Really?
I love that every time.
I don't know who you are, Nick.
It's funny. If you'd have told me that was going to be the thing, I'd have been great.
Who's your dialect coach?
It was just a lot of different things happening at once, and I think that particular scene started dipping into a little too fourth wall breaking for me, where it's like we're doing a parody of a parody at this point, where it's obviously the rumor that Channing Tatum was going to be Gambit a long time ago, and everyone wanted it, and that's what we're playing into here. But like, it just, I don't know, humor wise, it just didn't work for me. It was just a lot of that sort of Ryan Reynolds style, like, talking to the camera, talking to the sides. And I think ultimately I'm fine when Deadpool's doing it. I don't love when Deadpool's doing it and everyone else in the scene's doing it, because it's just too much of a good thing.
I was specifically talking about the accent.
Oh, I mean, sure.
Oh my god!
I don't. I didn't
You
love
love
it.
21 Jump Street. I don't
Time
get
to
it.
retire.
but anyways, like I do not think that this is a perfect film. Like I said, this is not. I don't even think this is the best Deadpool movie.
I mean, if I'm being real, where was the fucking Taylor Kitsch love?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know what they could have done with that to make it entertaining. Though.
Nothing. It was not
Yeah.
entertaining in the other one either. But
Yeah.
I wish that the Channing Tatum thing had been like 1 second. But the fact that he was in it for a really long time was, I don't know. It didn't work.
That
Didn't
was a
work for me.
highlight for me.
I think I was worried with so much of this movie. I felt like at any point with this style of humor, we are going to breach into Borderlands humor. We're going to breach into where it's just like too cringy and trying to be edgy for edgy's sake. And I've waited for every Deadpool movie to do that and to get to a point where it's like, where I'm rolling my eyes at most of the comedy instead of laughing at most of it. But like, man, they surprised me at every turn here. Like so many little random lines of dialogues that had no consequences, but they were just so like sharply written. I just really enjoyed so much of their approach to comedy in this one.
He said one line, and I was trying to remember it on the way in. You guys can help me. Where he's like,
Gubernatorial?
Yeah, gubernatorial. That killed me. That killed me.
Say one more word.
Gubernatorial. See, but for me, my criticism of it being too much of a good thing, this is the same issue I have with the Guardians of the Galaxy, the James Gunn problem. I'd rather they shoot for the stars and me cringe a little bit and still laugh than back it off too much. That's what Deadpool's known for. So, like, I guess I'm criticizing it for its hallmark and its strong suit.
Yeah, to me, the comedy worked as well as in the other movies. I don't think it's a standout necessarily. I think when it comes to the heart and the like actually giving a shit about what's happening, I think they did a great job. I don't think it's the best that they've done. But what I was very surprised by with this is how tight it all was. Again, I don't think it was perfectly paced. I don't think that the story makes much more sense than even Deadpool 2's did, where it's like, sure, I guess point A to point B, but like, who really cares?
When we got out, Jen was talking. She's like, "Yeah, the villains were kind of weak." I'm like, "Who gives a shit? I don't fucking care." You know what I mean? Like, not knowing anything about Professor X's sister, I'm like, when Tim described it the first time, I thought she kind of sounded like bullshit. So the fact you're just like leaning into her and the biblical course, I'm like, yeah, it's all nonsense. It's silly. That's why she's in the void.
Yeah, and I also don't even think she was bad in this movie. But
Not bad, but I mean,
not a
just like-
highlight. Definitely not a highlight. But what I appreciated is something that I feel like has really been lacking in the MCU recently, especially once the shows were introduced, is cohesion between the stories they're telling on the shows and things are supposed to matter and in the multiverse saga, and then just completely throwing it out the window the next project. A best example for me, WandaVision going into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, where they did not feel like they were following any of the same
character,
logic.
yeah.
And when we saw the TVA in the trailers for this, I was like, oh, I love that they're there, but like, oh, they're gonna not follow any of that. And after seeing Loki season 2, I was like, not a chance they're following any of it. And they did.
Wait, they don't even know you're here, do they? Like that. I was like, that's such a great swerve of like trying to establish why this is still happening when the TVA doesn't do this anymore.
It's great. I feel like they took that and ran with it and they made it feel like it all mattered. And I think that to me, like, this movie is made for people like me, hardcore nerds that want to nerd out about these Marvel movies and want to care about all the references to these actors, to these characters, to their history in comics and all of it, and celebrate all that stuff, good and bad. And this movie definitely celebrates the bad, but the respect that it has for all of that, I think, shines through the entire time. And, you know, for Deadpool, who is known for self-aware humor and just self-aware commentary, to be self-aware, you need to be aware of oneself. And I think that puts an extra pressure on Ryan Reynolds and Kevin Feige and the team to, if you're going to make these jokes, you need to make sure you're thinking them through so that the nerds watching are like, they got that right. And they got it fucking right in this movie. I would say 9 out of 10 times.
Agree 100%.
There's a couple glaring things for me. Like, I really don't like this movie starting with the time travel stuff, and then he jumps realities to 616 to be with Jon Favreau. And it's like, how do you jump realities with a time travel device? Like, that goes against everything I just said about following the logic. But everything else in the movie, I was like, this lines up for me in a way that I love. And the way the movie ends, we are now consolidating all the X-Men universe into one universe 10004 or whatever the hell, is perfectly setting up Avengers versus X-Men. The multiverse saga is building to something. It all makes sense, and I can't fucking wait.
Interesting.
I was very, very surprised with the jokes that they were willing to make to to everything, not everything internally that's happening at MCU and
when
say
he-
you're joining at a real low point,
Yeah,
by the
I was gonna
way.
say, welcome to the MCU. Welcome to the MCU. You're also joining at a low point.
Like that,
oh
I
my
was
God,
very
that's good.
surprised by that shit. I was very surprised by Wesley Snipes looking at the camera saying there will only ever be one blade. Like, holy shit, they're making some like, did they slip these parts in at the last second without any like authority watching these movies? Like that, I was very surprised by that. And with the lengths that they were willing to go with certain jokes and certain references, and I didn't expect, of course, a Jonathan Majors reference. Of course not. But not even like a Kang. That tells me like it's so over.
I mean, Loki season 2 kind of killed it.
Yeah, it's so over. Like there wasn't even like a joke to make about like Kang and the multiverse. Like
Looking different.
he made fun of obviously like multiverses suck. We're tired of it. Like he
Wizard
did
of
that.
Oz is the only one that's ever successful. The gays had it right. We didn't listen.
Like of course we had that reference, but like the fact that there wasn't any mention of the time traveling conqueror or whatever. Like that to me is like the most glaring thing that kind of shows me the direction of where all this is.
But let me just jump in real because I've been hinting at this and I've said it indirectly in different ways, but I haven't been on a show to now in a spoiler fashion be able to say how excited I am about where we're at right now. And I could be wrong. We'll find out in a couple days. I more than ever think I'm right about this. Loki season 2 writes off Kang in a way where his story's done. They had that scene of them like, oh yeah, we've been hunting him around and Ant-Man dealt with it. Like they said that, so you can just write it off there. I didn't expect them to. But then you combine that with the post-credit scene of Doctor Strange 2, which was them really doubling down on the incursions of what happens when the different universes are colliding. Then there's the Marvel's post-credit scene that was Monica Rambeau in the X-Men universe that now we know is 10004 with talking to Beast and all of that. That combined now with how this movie ends of them combining all the Fox into one and with that, it's like, we are building to an Avengers versus X-Men where there's going to be an incursion between the two realities. And the reason that they are fighting, the reason there's a versus is because only one can survive. And then that leads into like build through the other movies, build to a Secret Wars. And then you have all the Fox characters we actually like, all the Avengers we actually like, the new Fantastic Four, all the Spider-Men and Guardians of the Galaxy. Call it a fucking day.
Goosies, dude.
Call it a fucking day, man.
Goosies.
This Saturday. Get hype. We're about to get into the
You
plot.
think they're going to announce that on Saturday at Comic-Con?
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
I hope you're right. My thing is, I think one of the reasons, I'm sorry to interrupt, why I enjoyed this movie so much is, again, what we talked about in the last in review, Deadpool 2, where you at? And I'm just like, now I have this baseline expectation for Marvel movies, right? Of just like enjoyable time with cast of characters I enjoy. So when this one ended, and I was like, oh, I didn't like the end credits of a lot, I found it interesting that even in my own Monday morning quarterbacking of it, I wasn't like I was with Doctor Strange, or like, wow, but they didn't tease the other unit. I was just like, oh, I just thought they could have been funnier. Like I'm just at this point, I watch it, I enjoy it, I accept it, and I put it on the shelf. And I haven't done I'm not going to dream big that they all are going to go to this really cool thing. I hope they do, but I'm also fine if I was like, maybe they'll never do Deadpool again. Maybe they leave. I know they will, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing this till you're 90.
Oh, God. It's so good.
We're about to get to the plot, but right after a word from our sponsors.
New merch alert! We brought back the Portillo hat and t-shirt in new colors, as well as a stylish crew neck. I also wrote a children's book about Portillo, and you loved it so much that we sold out in just 3 hours. Wow, thank you! But fear not, we're doing another limited run. So if you want one, head over to kindafunny.com/store, click the books page, and hit notify me when available to make sure you know when it goes live. And while you're there, grab a few shirts for your friends.
Hit it, Andy.
Plot, 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 plot.
Everybody! Plot, 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 plot. Welcome to Deadpool and Wolverine, ladies, gentlemen, and NBs. Let's begin.
Felt in.
Where it all ended. The grave.
The grave.
The X there, the snow falling, and Deadpool, of course, digging up. The one, the only, Logan, Wolverine. Of course, he says he needs a Wolverine. He needs this person. And what people don't get in saying that he's dead is, of course, there's no way he could be dead. They have a mutant healing ability, right? They can come back from anything. Clang gets down there, realizes no, he is a fucking dead. Freaks out, smashes everything, loses his mind, blah, blah. Then gets up there and we get the Deadpool we know, right? Of sitting there talking to Wolverine's corpse, his animanium corpse, right?
So fucking good. Like just from this moment, I can't believe this is the perfect way to disrespect with respect.
Yeah, exactly. Like, no, see, he's still dead. Wolverine's
you
dead.
couldn't be more deceased. I think that was the line.
And talking with the Australian accent and all that jazz. But of course, as he lays out the plot of why he's here and what he's doing, TVA shows up, and we are treated to the first of many just fucking amazing fight scenes. Of course, set to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, complete with dance breaks from
the
Deadpool.
Cutaways to the dance breaks were freaking
Inspired.
And I should have said this earlier because I was very glowing in my review, and I am very glowing about this movie. But there are some major criticisms I have with it as a film and as a Deadpool film. I feel like Sean Levy, the dynamics and chemistry of conversations were really good. I think the action scenes almost across the board were a step down from the last two Deadpools.
Really?
And I think that's a thing of direction of camera work for action as opposed to the choreography. Choreography in this, still top tier. I think it was great. But this opening scene, I absolutely loved NSYNC's playing. It's funny as hell. Him fighting with Logan's adamantium skeleton is brilliant. But the amount of shots that look like it was shot for a 3D movie, like the way the camera's working,
a lot
and
of that.
bodies are coming and stuff, and it was just like it felt just not ideal camera-wise. And the major fight scene we get later in the movie where we get the Gambit and the others all teaming up and fighting, that I did not enjoy that at all. Like, I enjoyed the concept of it, but the way it was shot was like not fun to watch, and it didn't allow the characters' powers to like be seen.
There was a lot of shakiness.
A lot of shaky, a lot of just close stuff that I was like, this is not like, come on, like you have the goods, show me them. But I take it all back for the final scene where they run through in the bus scene of them fighting like the one shot. Loved that stuff.
Also, I mean, the one this is a stand up, I think, because of NSYNC for me. But then the fight scene I loved the most was them fighting in the car, the van.
So
when using the seatbelts and all that shit and just fucking each other up. I thought that was so fucking good.
I just loved like the authentic dance moves. Like this wasn't Ryan Reynolds in a suit. It seemed like this is a real dancer doing real choreography.
I mean, all of NSYNC besides JT were at the premiere.
It's one of those things where it goes to the first time, you're like, that's hilarious. Then it goes back, like, oh, we're back. But by the fifth time, we went back to the dance sequence. It's the one move where they kind of do this thing. It gets me every time.
Because it's like so legitimately good and it's just so ridiculous.
God, I know.
We brawl there for a long time. Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe what happens is we eventually strap on the claws and then do them the schnick. But before we get to cutting anybody, we get the let me explain how we got here. All right, I got here because I had my heart broken. Go ahead.
One more quick thing to throw out. I love that. Obviously, this is all the intro credits, and I think a fun, creative way to introduce the characters and see the names popping out of the skull and the
for sure.
A very neat kind of creative way, which you always wonder how they're going to try to one up themselves. And I don't know if it was better than any of the other ones, but I still really enjoyed it.
I'm with you. I don't know if it was better, but it was as good.
Yeah.
Nothing will ever beat the Bond intro.
No, nothing.
Deadpool
You're right.
Come on, give me
You're
a
right.
break.
He introduces his time dilation device, or whatever he wants to call it, which did in fact make him jump universes here to the sacred timeline 616, where he is, of course, in Stark Tower being interviewed by the one, the only Happy Hogan. He's, of course, applying to be an Avenger. Some great dialogue here, some funny stuff.
Looking for the other guy.
Yeah. Once he comes through, the big one, I should save this stuff for him.
He doesn't do this kind of thing anymore. What, cameos?
What's your superpower? Are you a part of the Avengers? What's your superpower? Parallel parking? like every
Avengers adjacent. I like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I kept on expecting this movie to, as much as I loved part one's humor and part two's humor, like almost as much, and I keep on expecting these movies to get less and less funny and have that ratio trend more towards like, enough. Let's, but they continue to wow me with this one. I really enjoyed it, man.
Agreed. I thought here it looked like they did a lot of de-aging on Jon Favreau, which then makes it look more obvious. I thought that that doesn't look like. I understand this is 2018, so you feel like you probably had to, but you could have just let Jon Favreau be Jon Favreau. We're not gonna bust your balls about it. Anyways, though, funny dialogue, all this stuff. I of course love seeing all the Marvel stuff around. I enjoyed, of course, they cut to the bookshelf and it is the Tony Stark with Peter Parker, but Peter Parker's covered up by something. You see the hand. That's cute. That's fun. But of course, Happy rejects Deadpool. Right? He's not going to be part of this team. He's not going to be an Avenger. walk or standing up. This isn't good. No, it's not good. Or this part where we stand up, walks in the door, he hugs him. Of course, Deadpool's inappropriate, and we get a 5-year time jump. Right, 5 years later, where we jump to what is their universe's CarMax. Where Peter and Deadpool are working. That Wade is working there after he staples his toupee to his head as a car salesman, and Wade is just dog shit at it and cursing in front of the kids and being a moron and insulting the cars and everything else.
Fucking Honda Odyssey.
Is that a fucking Honda Odyssey?
Of course, we then get the locker room scene where Peter's telling him he's down on his luck. I understand you're depressed. I keep the suit here. We should do a mission. We should do a thing. Why do you keep the suit here? They're arguing about that. And of course, it's the fact that Deadpool needs to do something with his life, right? Him and Vanessa are no longer together. We don't
Such a bummer.
the full
You hear it.
flashback
You're just
here.
like, God damn.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. But I appreciate it. I mean, again, to your point, do the emotional beats hit as hard as they did in the other one? No, they don't. But I do understand, of course, like, this is a weird relationship to be in, and they've always been her crazy matches his crazy, so it makes sense to some degree. But I like the idea of, like, it's not even that he's the murderer anymore, that she's almost getting killed, right? It's like you've lost the spark, and like you're not into, you know what I mean? Like you're not.
Well, he's
by the
he's
end, it seems like
depressed,
they're back
right?
together.
Yeah. The whole theme of the movie is like him trying to do something that matters.
Yeah.
And that's sort of that character arc for him in this movie. What do you
But
like
how-
about it?
I was Googling to prep for an upcoming comedic line. It just made me giggle because it was the perfect choice of car brand and model that they could have chosen comedically, just in terms of what it is like, did we just, is this a Kia Carnival? Like that, like it's just, they picked the right thing to like maximum funny, like that's what they chose. And it just, I was looking up van brands, I was like, what did they choose? Like Kia Carnival. God damn it, it was such a good choice.
I also love later when he falls in the Kia. He's like, oh, that felt like a Kia.
Yeah, the Kia Carnival.
Really
That's the one.
really funny.
But him being depressed and wanting to do something in his life, right? How much of that's all him projecting it on himself, right? The conversation he has with Vanessa at the table obviously is influenced by Charles's sister, and that isn't what she said. But that's also a conversation they have after he fails to get into the Avengers.
Well,
So,
the only
like,
thing she didn't say was like, "You'll never matter." That's the one thing, is like she never said that. But I think
Yeah.
I read that the rest of the conversation was like he's just struggling to find a place. He couldn't cut it as an X-Men because he's Deadpool. That he wanted to be an Avenger, which is ridiculous, and he doesn't know what he's gonna do. He wants to be a hero, but he's not really a hero, and that put a wedge in the relationship.
Yeah.
That's how I read that. But
So we go back. Peter and him ride bicycles away from CarMax back to Deadpool's house, where he's living with Blind Al, of course. And of course, surprise! It's his birthday. It's everybody we know.
photographed. Pew, pew.
Oh yeah, right. Good point. Yeah, outside there's photos of guys. It's TVA. Once we're inside, though, it's the surprise party. It's everybody you'd expect from the last movie.
Not everybody. Where's Domino?
Where's Domino?
It's just weird, right?
Where's
Everyone's
Ozzy
here,
Bean?
except the person who was on the poster last time.
It was a team up.
But the rest
It
of
was
the team's
it was
there.
more weird that the alien who got chopped up was there. But
Oh yeah, Shatterstar.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
I was
felt-
in Mortal Kombat. Did we talk about that
We
last
didn't.
week?
I mean, in a very top level
Like,
way, I thought we did.
Yeah, I just like I didn't recognize him last movie from it.
Yeah.
We might have talked about it. Seeing him here, I'm like, you're definitely the Mortal Kombat guy.
Yeah, they're making a part 2, huh?
Yeah, they
I'm
are.
excited. It's gonna be
What
a
was
good
the story there? Because I thought, when he saved Peter, did he save
I
him
thought
too?
Shatterstar died.
Yeah.
They
Peter-
all got revived from the time travel
Yeah.
device at the end.
I thought only Peter did, but okay.
Yeah, I thought he just
No,
went back
all
and
of
saved Peter.
Yeah, me too. That's what I took away from it.
Never, because he was like, Peter, stop, walk away. But
Yeah.
they never showed the other people getting saved. I could have swore Shadowstars, he just let them die. That was the joke.
I thought
he
the
only
joke was
saved Peter.
Peter. Yeah. Now Shatterstar,
I could be wrong about
Shatterstar, an alien, could have maybe he can
Yeah,
regenerate
I
or
don't know.
whatever the hell. I'm not busting balls about it. I just thought it was
But Yukio's here. That's all that
Yeah,
matters.
of course you.
Well, the domino thing also, too, was like it's sort of set up that she doesn't choose where she goes. Luck just chooses for her. She goes, oh, now I know why. Like
She
when
wasn't
Essex
either.
home, she's like,
She wasn't
yeah,
either.
maybe not. I do want to shout out the fact that there's just so many references to the fact they can't show cocaine. You have to believe that was actually came from a real conversation with Kevin Feige. He was
Sure.
like, we just can't.
And they
show
were like,
cocaine.
how much can we push this?
Yeah. And he was like, just don't show it.
There's that great headline of like Kevin Feige had explained to a bunch of producers what pegging was. And of course, that comes up here where there's a knock at the door after we get, there's more obviously stuff between everybody. The bullshit conversations you have at these parties. What are you watching? I was like, oh my God.
The speaking like guy, Buck. He was there. God, that was
What are you
good.
improvising now?
Anyways, all that happens. Then there's a knock at the door. Wade answers it. It's the TVA. Wade shuts the door, shushes them. You're strippers. All right, what about this? And then it starts being so inappropriate, right? Of like, I hate you. Oh, good, keep that. You know what I mean? Hold on to that. Like, so fucking good. I loved all of this. And then before it can even pop off, right? Boom, door behind him opens up. He gets grabbed. He gets pulled in. He drops his toupee in the hallway, right? We get to the TVA where, of course, Tom Wobsbag is there for the session. Fucking killing it, of course. Has him in the little interrogation room, walks him through.
I was trying to place the guy for the longest time.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, I
so
didn't watch Succession, so I'm like, I know this guy was in something.
It's a capricious bag, Greg.
That's good. Yeah, Shiv.
Shiv. You're so much better.
No, you're great. Come on, we're both killing it. We're both great.
You know what I mean? He introduces all the stuff to him, right? Has all the clips and stuff playing there. Then it's like, oh, come on, take a walk with me. They walk through this. He's not actually there to be variant erased, nor is he there because he fucked with the timeline. I thought that was fun.
Me too. I mean, goes back to what I was saying of like what I expected from the movie versus what they gave me. I thought it was like watching the trailer. I'm like, all right, he had Cable's time machine thing. Like TVA is going to come get him and they're going to totally disregard Loki. And they're like, no, like we know that obviously because we are the TVA, but like, no, we don't care about that. Here's this new thing that makes the multiverse make so much more sense.
Yeah, we need a hero. You need to come be part of. You've been invited to come be part of the 616, the sacred timeline. Come on and do this stuff. They go and give him the fancy suit, which is fun because when we were watching the opening, I was like, this looks like a new suit. This suit looks way better. I was like, this looks more Marvel. You know what I mean? It
seemed a little brighter.
Well, it was also just the fabric
yeah.
of it.
I didn't notice that. And to me, this is something that I can't wait to rewatch because when this happened, I was like, what's the joke here? Because like they give him a big suit up moment. And I'm like, but it's just the suit.
Yeah, it looks way more the fabric of Spider-Man, like the Spider-Man Homecoming suit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Versus the Deadpool, which is always more leather. And I'm happy that I was able to spot that, but not understand until they made sense in the movie. And even then to have not Paul. Yeah, Paul. The Peter show up in this Peter show up in the old school leather. When later I was like, there's the difference.
Yeah, you're right.
I like that a lot.
I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Anyways, they go and have the.
Hold on, them making the suit though.
I was gonna say they have the gratuitous suit.
So much crotch grabs.
So fucking awesome. Smacking the ass and grabbing the crotch.
By the way, he's a
predator. He's a sex predator.
He is a predator, but I look great. You know what I mean? Whatever the fuck. That's so good.
That line got me so much, man.
And then, of course, just more dynamite lines here with the fucking guy. He's like, that guy knows what I'm talking about or whatever. Which is it? He's like, I do not. Who are you calling? You calling your wife? Calling HR? Does your wife work in HR?
Ryan Reynolds,
so.
I think they overdid that. I
agree too.
For me, it was like it started weird. I liked the line, and then when they double back yet again at the very end with the mask and stuff, I was like, oh fuck yeah, they got it. They got me. I love this movie. This movie's got my humor. So
many crotch grabs.
Throughout all this, I probably missed it here. He mentions
so funny.
No. This isn't right. Okay, cool. This is great. I'm here. Let's go get my friends.
What in the MacGuffin is that?
We're not going to get your friends. Like we're going to have to destroy your timeline. You can see it recessing here.
Why was Thor crying?
Oh God, yeah, I did skip that. Yeah, that was great. Who was that? Was that Damon or was that actually Chris Hemsworth?
Well, so go for it.
I don't know. I was
it
gonna say,
like
it didn't look like Chris Hemsworth.
Well, so I was like doing some research on this and because this entire movie's on fucking YouTube already. But like people were looking at it because I was interested. I saw that I was like, what is this supposed to be? Because they then imply it's the future, like that's going to happen. I'm sure we're going to come back to that at some point in a future movie. I'm excited for.
I hope so.
But when I saw it, I was like, that's clearly the footage from Dark World where Loki's dying.
Oh yeah,
and it seems to be seems that it is just reused footage from because he looked so young.
Because it looked like a different
Hemsworth
Hemsworth brother. It looked like Liam.
When I was watching
the
it,
other one,
I thought it was
Matt Damon.
Westworld.
Yeah. Well, no, Matt Damon was Loki, right? I thought it was.
No,
you're right. It was one of his brothers. His brother played him. Matt Damon played Loki, his brother.
Yeah,
and then Sam,
was the other.
Whoever was
Sam Neill was Odin.
Yeah, doesn't matter. I couldn't place that.
So I don't know if you know in the comments. Like, please confirm this, but I think that it was just reused Dark World footage, but it was still a great moment.
I mean, I really thought we were gonna see some sort of payoff for that, but the lines of the dialogue were like good enough for me. The revisiting of like Thor, like waking up out of a dream, being like, Thor, what are you doing? Like all of that little stuff like got me every time because whenever you have somebody that is so fascinated and fanboys over another superhero, Anytime Paul Rudd fanboys over Captain America, like that shit, all that humor works so well for me. Anytime Deadpool is referencing Thor here, it just always makes me laugh.
But I think the special sauce of Ryan Reynolds though is that he always kind of feel like he's fucking with whoever he's like talking to.
Yeah.
So whenever he's bringing back Thor, it's like totally the wrong time to be asking that question. He's just trolling everyone all the time, and it's only something that like only Ryan Reynolds could do that.
Why was Thor crying?
Yeah.
It's totally wrong moment to ask that question.
Of course, his timeline is dying because they've lost an anchor being. He, of course, thinks it's him. Tom gets a big laugh out of that. No, of course not. It's Logan. And then he shows Logan dying and doing all these things, sacrificing himself for Laura and all these different things.
Fuck yeah, man.
Yeah,
This
so
is
good.
just awesome.
I tell you what, whenever we have those moments with either Deadpool and his crew or specifically Logan and Daphne Keane, I think is her last name.
That's right. You nailed it.
Man, it makes me want to go back and watch Logan again.
Can't wait
Hugh
for
Jackman's
next
a
week.
fucking good actor,
Dude.
man.
He was remarkable in those moments we'll get to later. Like those, the line delivery and a lot of it, even the moment where they're in the van and he's yelling at him
Yeah.
and he's just kind of lashing out
About the
Fuck,
suit
man,
and
he's
all
such
that
a
stuff.
good actor.
I know
God
he's
damn.
like I'm the wrong guy or like that, and she has that line. She's like,
the
"You're
wrong
always
guy.
the wrong guy. Like, you always were."
you were.
It's like, fuck, that's good.
Okay, so that sucks. You can't eat my timeline. Don't do that. You know what I mean? You said the machines there.
And he's like, the TVAs, they're doing shit too lazy. Like, I want to.
Tom, I'm off the grid. I'm not working with the team
Yeah.
anymore. This is the whole thing. I want to make this to move up in the company and show them that I'm correct. Or
We used to
whatever.
prune shit back in my day, sort of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. So, he plays along for a second and then does the old, I'm not going to do it. And they grab him and he's like, well, I'm going to break your nose and I'm going to go get you a time anchor or an anchor being. And he does just that, headbutts him, jumps through the thing, does the thing where, he falls through the time thing, but then grabs the guy's mug again to have it there. We catch up to the beginning of the movie. We get the fight scene. We get the schnick and then him using the claws and tearing
Using
people up.
the pruning things from Loki, like,
Yeah.
oh my god, this
No.
choreography was
The best move of the entire movie is when I forget what the guy does to piss him off, but he takes his katana out and fucking throws it at the ground. It pops into the guy's mouth.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, he says something against Canada. I don't remember. Yeah,
Something
there's
like that.
It's something like it's one of those where he crosses the line. But then my favorite was when he's using the claws and then starts to realize how tough it is, and he gets the great one of like the claws up the one dude's ass and in the other guy's groin or whatever, and he's stuck. And he's like, oh, God,
I
it's
like
so
the one where he
funny.
goes through the guy into his own leg, and he's like, "Fuck, it's in my leg. It's my own leg."
Yeah.
Can't get it out.
Eventually, of course, he kills all these people, and then we get amazing.
Oh my god.
Worth the price of admission montage unto itself.
The power of love.
Let's go get a fucking Wolverine and to jump through all these different universes and get, oh, look at you, you're comic accurate Wolverine. You know what I
He was
mean?
a little
Also,
too short to be
yeah,
comic
fucking
guy.
amazing.
my
So
god.
good.
We see him stand up and he's like 5'4", and it's the fucking funniest thing I've seen. And that kicks off this montage that just kept getting better. This was when I say this is a movie of dreams, this is the type of thing of wouldn't it be cool if this happened? They just did it all right
Dude,
here.
Right, yeah. Age of Apocalypse Wolverine with
That's
the one
awesome.
hand. One of my favorite
sick.
action figures ever, dude. You know what I mean? Of having that back in the day.
Henry goddamn Cavill.
I was going to save him for last, but
Oh,
yeah.
Wolverine.
The Calverine will treat you so much better than those people down the street.
Oh my god.
When he was walking, and to your point, Andy, you're like, I'm so glad I didn't have any of this spoiled for me. It had been so long since I had heard all these rumors that I had forgotten about all of this.
Oh,
so when
really?
Henry Cavill turned, I was like, oh my God, right, that's amazing. When we eventually got to Chris Evans, I heard his voice, and I saw the arm, like, Captain America, fuck yeah. And I totally forgot until he said Flame On. I was like, right, that had been something everybody had been saying. Like, that's so fucking smart. But Henry Cavill, goddamn, you know what I mean?
I mean, you say Henry Cavill. To me, that was the second coolest one. Because the big one, for
yellow
me,
and brown.
yellow and brown. And
Oh,
it's
this is the suit you wore when you fought the Hulk,
My
bro.
God. You see him do the stick, and it's the comic cover of the Hulk in the reflection, and we bounce out and you see the Hulk, and it's like, oh my freaking God, man.
Yeah. If we could have hung out there a little bit longer.
Just a little
that
longer.
would have won my.
But
yeah,
I'm okay with it because we know we're going to get that in the future. I like
They know what
this.
they're doing.
Yeah, this is just we don't need to get all the. I like that this movie didn't focus on the good guy stuff, focus on the bad guy stuff.
yeah, exactly. And so we go all the way through before finally we end up at a very normal Wolverine scene, right? Look, Alaskan bar, you would assume. Maybe it's the bar from the
trailer?
comic book,
Video
it's
game
whatever,
trailer?
X-Men 1 or whatever, and a Wolverine drinking at the bar. He's not welcome at the bar, says the bartender. Deadpool comes over, leave the bottle, shoots the shit with Wolverine long enough that Wolverine doesn't try to kill him yet. He's like, most Wolverines are usually stabbing me by now, so you'll have to do or whatever. And Wolverine won't get up. He does get up. He chugs the bottle or whatever, does the claws first, and he can't get him out. And he's like, oh, whiskey claws. I think common at your age. Chugs the bottle, passes out. Deadpool's like, you'll do. Brings him back through the portal, drops back in front of in front of Tom in the TVA.
Tom
says, here you go. I have your anchor being. You know what I mean? Yeah, I'm not going to call him by his given Marvel name. All right, this is in
Mr.
review.
Paradox.
This is in review, and they'll bend to my will. This is your anchor being. I brought you a Logan. Let's bring him back to my universe, and we'll be all set. Of course, he gets laughed out of the room. Not only does that not work, you brought us the worst Wolverine. Like, there's no way this guy could do it. He's the worst. He's the failure. He sucks. Yada, yada, blah, 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 blah.
But he's got the blue and yellow suit.
Does have the
already.
blue and yellow suit, yeah.
And he notices it under
his outfit.
Yeah.
Very Superman-like. They begin to argue and whatever, and Deadpool begins to move in to kill Tom. Oh no, Wolverine does eventually. Anyways, they both get and shot to the void. What's the name of the void? Is it the void?
The
Okay,
void.
Cool. I didn't
They
feel
call
like
it the garbage dump or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I meant the actual biblical name of the void.
God's will.
They wake up in the void. Well, actually, Deadpool wakes up with Wolverine walking over him, right? And it says, I forget if he can help me up or whatever it is. And then he goes, shink. He's like, actually, I'm good. I'm good. Poof, gets him in the thing, pulls him up. They scream. They argue at each other, right? And then finally, it's like, it's time to fucking go.
And when they go, we have the 20th century statue. I don't know what you want to call
The logo,
it.
right?
Thing
Yeah,
in
the
the
logo,
background.
yeah.
So awesome. The shot of Wolverine on all fucking fours running is just so sick.
I forget. Is this the one where right before it happens, Deadpool's
says,
like,
get fucking ready.
Nerds, get your sock or whatever, your
Yeah.
special sock. Like, I like that a lot. Just an amazing, brutal fight scene of them stabbing each other and no one ever really having the upper hand as they spin out and do all this.
Tiny knife.
Yeah. It's so good.
Anytime that happened.
I like they showed it in the trailer, I think, but it was like Deadpool, like Wolverine's like on his back, and Deadpool takes out and starts shooting him with fucking kidneys.
Dude, that
And then
was
when he
awesome.
stands up and they go ping,
Yeah.
Oh,
ping,
so
ping, ping,
hype.
ping, 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 ping. So fucking great, right? They brawl for a while there and then eventually stop. I forget if they get stopped by something or just
They get stopped by
because they're
Captain
tired.
America, I
Is
think,
it that what
right?
it is? Yeah.
Or, well,
So they
by
get a
Chris
shot.
Evans.
They get a shot from up above. There's a
Is it
man
they're coming,
up there who
whatever.
sounds exactly like Captain America.
We also saw a Captain America shield at some point too, one of the original ones that was like
Oh yeah, there's a
Right.
lot of Easter eggs.
a lot
in
of
there.
you
have like
you got the
World
things
War
in the,
II thing.
the
Yeah.
helicarrier in the
You
back.
see the
Oh,
Milano in the ground as well, right?
Oh, did you? I didn't see
Yeah.
that. I can't wait to watch it. There's so
Freeze
much.
frame,
The
yeah.
one thing that I didn't know what it was in the void was there was a shot of like a bunch of little like purple Teletubby
Yeah,
vacuum cleaner
yeah.
looking things.
I couldn't spot those.
Roger seemed to think it was from Fantastic Four 2015. I've never seen that,
I've
so
never-
I don't know.
I never did either.
I just assumed it was like their alien life or whatever, but yeah.
Yeah, so Cap comes down, right? It's Chris Evans. The people pull up in all the weird cars. The Red Skull car, which we spotted from a trailer. The Fantastic Four car, the
Yep.
floating car. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
as fuck,
This was one of the my favorite music cue moments, like score wise. I think the licensed music in this film fan-fucking-tastic, like you would expect. The score very lacking for me. The callbacks to stuff was like, what are we doing here, guys? There's so many opportunities, you're just not using them. But of course, we did get a little hint at the Avengers / Cap motif there, but just to throw us off, because we see him standing there. And this was a moment in the movie
Shocked
that
the shit
ratchets
out of
it
me.
up, where I'm like, I can't believe we're doing this when you hear his voice, because I put it together immediately. I'm like, they're cloaking him because he's about to flame fucking on.
Yeah.
Well, they threw you for a loop too, because you see his pants, and the pants are cargo pants, which Johnny, that wasn't his outfit from, they were like skin tight outfits and the other thing. So I was like, oh, maybe it is Cap.
He's gonna say it. Say the thing. Say the thing. Wait, the audience is waiting to hear Avengers Assemble.
But instead, of course, they hear Flame on. Of course, the rogues gallery that have pulled up on them include Toad, includes Pyro, includes. I think they have the knockoff Bullseye in there too.
And,
a few
yeah.
female characters I didn't recognize.
From X-Men Last Stand, there's I forget her name, but Lady Deathstrike.
Deathstrike.
Oh yeah,
from,
was she in the
X2.
cars though, or was she back at base?
I'm not sure, but
Okay.
yeah, there's
She was back at the base with Azazel.
Azazel
Yeah.
baby,
Red
popping
guy.
around.
Red
there's
Demon Man.
A lot of the villains from other movies. I wish they went harder with this. There's way too many just unnamed, just random filler people. And I'm like, what are we doing? And I don't need actors, just like that we know. Just put them in costumes.
Well, it's the
that
same
we
thing
know.
when we watched the trailers and did the reaction, like, holy shit, is that Daredevil Bullseye, right? And then but we would know if Colin Farrell's in it. Instead, we get to the scene, right, where it is, oh, that is a Bullseye. That's a variant of the Bullseye. He's got the thing, he's got the things, but it's not. And it's like, that was good enough. Do that with all the other villains.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
I missed the Bullseye. I didn't see that one.
He's full blown a variant of Bullseye.
which I'm very excited about.
Yeah.
Which was my boy Colin Farrell.
I know.
So
Yeah.
I'll love him.
Gotta go watch the Penguin.
Me and Roger John, I didn't know who the guy with the red and white stripes was, who was Kevin Nash. In the movie, he wasn't Kevin Nash, but it was an allusion to
Punisher guy?
Punisher.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the
Yeah,
guys from
the
that.
bad guys
So-
from that.
gotcha,
Like
gotcha.
Thomas Jane Punisher, right?
And of course, we have X3's Juggernaut. Again, not the same person, but the
Not
same
Vinnie
look
Jones.
of
Oh, was it
right.
not him?
Not Vinnie Jones.
no.
Oh, damn. He looked
I thought it was.
identical.
Yeah, I still remember.
Juggernaut,
that guy.
bitch.
Looks like-
Booch.
Yeah.
And then, of course...
So one of the other cars was the Moon Knight ice cream truck.
Oh, that's where that ice cream truck was.
The only reason I assumed it wasn't the same Juggernaut because I was like, man,
So
this
young.
dude looks so good.
Yeah.
There's no way his body aged that well over this many
You
years.
had
This dude
him-
looked
you had
his
a
body was
Blob there.
insane.
The Blob was there, but I don't think it was the same Blob because the Blob also was famous from that movie, and he'd be much older now too.
yeah.
And shit, there was somebody else I wanted to call out that I've now lost. Doesn't matter.
I just like that Pyro was like, that was the original actor, right?
Yeah, yeah,
that's real
that's
Pyro,
awesome.
straight
He
up Pyro.
was in this movie
And
a
he's-
lot, and it was cool.
Finally in his comic outfit, not just a freaking like long sleeve Old Navy shirt. Like
Yeah, interesting.
Pretty cool.
I do
First
miss
off,
the
don't
old Navy
insult
shirt.
the old Navy shirt.
I love that he's like flame on, and Pyro just takes
Yeah,
all the fire out of him. And he
exactly.
just drops.
And I thought he's dead.
This is what we live for, guys.
I definitely didn't think. I don't know. I'm not a Fantastic Four guy, but I do remember him being hospitalized during Civil War the comic because he got hit in the head with a bottle. So how he survived this, I don't know. But multiverse.
But more than that, he gets the fire sucked out of him. He falls onto his crutch, then does a Deadpool fall of his neck like smack. I'm
Yeah.
like, what the fuck? And he's just fine.
I thought
again-
they were immediately just throwing it away as like that's the bit. Like, oh, okay, well there goes Chris Evans, you're done.
Yeah, me too.
I kind of wish it was. I think
Yeah,
I
I
wish
thought-
that would have been the moment because I don't think like him doing the sort of like cheesy New York accent the entire time kind of took me out of it a little bit.
I laughed a lot with the ripping of the skin off.
That shit was
that
funny.
that
That
was
was
a great
funny.
payoff. But yeah, I agree with Nick that the conversation in the car, whatever, I would have rather left him there and had it been like, oh, that's awesome. I had 2 seconds with him.
Could not disagree.
You know what's
more.
interesting,
I
though?
love that, and I love the post credits of like he actually said all of that
was pretty
things.
funny. That was
and
pretty
like
funny.
it being the camera that was like watching them was the Kevin Feige camera from She-Hulk. I'm like, this. I fucking love these movies, man.
Cinnamon swirl or whatever the fuck they call the asshole.
I
Oh,
call
yeah.
it my cinnamon swirl. I call it my Aunt Annie's.
Oh god.
That's a pretzel. If you didn't know, as a reference.
But
we're
it's
making there.
because it's salty.
Yeah, sure. Of
The
course.
lot is a pretzel knot.
Everything that we just said happens, right? They wake up there, and then he gives Chris Evans gives the rundown of you're going to go talk to this bald woman. I forget what her name is.
It definitely meant Cinnabon.
Nova?
Cassandra Nova.
Cassandra Nova?
Cassandra Nova. And so we pull up. It's the old Ant. It's a dead Ant-Man, which is
Awesome.
awesome and fucking cool, right?
And with the skull.
Oh, Red finally
yeah,
aged.
yeah, that was great. Open the gate and they open it up and there's a skull in there and Paul Rudd finally aged. We get there, we get out. It's meant to make you think it's going to be, of course, Professor X with the chair, and then she just gets up and Deadpool's got a great line. She's like, "Oh, ableist, huh? We're gonna piss these people off too, right?" You know? But she comes down and lays it all out, right? Of like, when you're in the void, you're gonna either be food for whatever the fucking dragon's name is, Eliath, or you can fucking work for me or whatever. And it's a whole back and forth thing. This is when, Deadpool shoots his mouth off about everything. Johnny Storm told him. Johnny denies all of it, gets all his skin taken away, is reduced to being a bones there, right? Yeah. And again, a great just display of power from here, right? Where Wolverine shoots his mouth off, he's thrown underground, pushed way back. That's fucking cool.
I think this is the moment, but it might be later. But regardless, doesn't
Get
really
it in
matter.
here, have some fun.
I loved the throwaway line of it's like Loki season 1 episode 5. Like,
Yeah, you'd be fed to Eliath from Loki season 2 episode. Yeah, that was awesome. You know what I mean?
I want to give a shout out to Emma Corrin, who plays Cassandra here.
I liked her.
I was trying to place what I remember her from, and she played Princess Diana in the last season of The Crown.
Oh.
I was like, oh, she's really good. She's really. I thought she was great in this. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought she was good. I mean, I don't think she's given much to work with, but again,
I do. It's they.
oh my apologies.
they-
I don't think they
apologies.
were given much to work with, and I think that's fine for what this character is. This character is just in the void because they were a reject. They're garbage, right? So it doesn't. Their nonsense storyline is fine to be what it is. I appreciate that.
I really enjoyed the CGI use of like the hand and the brain stuff. Like,
Ugh,
thought that was so freaky
disturbing,
looking
so
and
fucked up.
And I think we've seen a lot of other moments where maybe in past movies that CGI would have looked less good because of budget constraints and because of rushing, and it's just like get this, fucking shit this product out or whatever. I really enjoyed the way a lot of the CG looked in this movie.
And to me, that's why I don't think that this is a bad villain in the Marvel movies. I don't think it's top tier, but the hand stuff to me, I was like a unique visual thing that is actually scary and terrifying, and like combining that with them being a psychic and all that is like very, very, I think, very cool.
And again, to make. I always love when superhero stories do that like dark version of something and it's a little bit off where, Batman is actually a Batman or some weird shit like that, right? Yeah. And so like to be like, she has that line of like, Charles can read your mind with a thought. I have to actually touch it. Like, that's so
with the
fucking
long fingers.
gross. Yeah.
Yeah, we always talk about how it's so difficult to make a villain sort of menacing in these one-offs where you have to meet them and get the full backstory. And I thought the Cassandra character, I thought it hit for me.
I was like, as much as you want, put your fingers in my brain.
Whoa. Nick's got Sabretooth pulled up on a screen, which does remind me, we totally skipped that part. That was awesome.
The
When
Sabretooth beheading.
rolls up and then just immediately gets his head chopped off. That was awesome.
Yeah, I said this in one of the times I've talked about this movie already, but I do feel like there's this moment I'm okay with, but it's an example of there's a lot of build up to moments here and like big one-liners and like, oh, get ready, and then it's not really that satisfying. And this to me was kind of one of those because we waited 20 years for this. So I'm like, I don't know what I did.
No, yeah, I agree with that.
We saw him beat Sabretooth's ass in the first movie, and like now he's in the costume. Like I didn't really care about that.
Well,
I think if he just popped out,
because Liev Schreiber is everyone's real Sabretooth.
Oh,
And
you're
there's
right.
that
You're
too.
so
So we could
right.
have gotten him back. That would have been the real thing. No disrespect to Taylor Maine.
Of course, what a
Very
great name for a
aptly named.
Sabretooth.
Yeah, very aptly named.
I think if Sabretooth had just popped up as a surprise, I would have enjoyed that way more than like, holy shit, Sabretooth. Everybody's been wanting to watch this. Like, we haven't though. Like, I don't know.
But you bring up Liev Schreiber or whatever, who I do appreciate or whatever. I was more of a Scream fan for him. But this one, the fact that it is the original Sabretooth, it's still the same guy. I was like, cool.
No, great stuff.
I wish they had put him in a more comic accurate outfit. Though.
Sure. Yeah.
That's a
Then it
big
would have been,
thing.
you really want to do the 20 years or whatever.
That could have been pretty.
Yeah, that
fun.
would have been cool. This is where she reads Deadpool's mind and does the thing with Vanessa where you never met her. He's like, that's not what she said, but that's what she thought. You know what I mean? This whole thing. Basically, though, guess what? Rent's due. Eliath is here to eat you because that's what it's going to be. Wolverine gets out and runs to the
little jetpack thing.
No, it's a boot of one of the things that kills mutants.
Sentinels.
Sentinels, yeah.
They jump on that.
That's
They
cool.
hit the
I did
button.
not catch that.
They
Oh, that's
fly
cool.
off. We get this beautiful wide shot,
Loved
very
it.
wide shot. Just
Audio design was fantastic here.
of them flying across.
Screaming as they
Yeah,
smash
yeah.
into the cliff.
Just
above.
it's sputtering and the tiny quiet just it's just like so perfectly done.
They come to over there. They've gotten away. I skipped, of course, that Johnny Storm told them about the people who are off in the Badlands or whatever. The others that are off in the Badlands. Some mention of Badlands, correct? That if we
Borderlands,
we could get to them. Another movie crossover right here. You know what I mean? If we could get to them, we can get out of here and we can get back and. They end up at the diner. Wolverine sniffing around for alcohol, can only find rubbing alcohol and chugs that. She's like, oh yeah, fuck your liver. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's great
don't
stuff.
drink that. Okay, yeah, there you go. All right.
They eat old spam. Deadpool tries to get it out of him. What's going on? What happened in your universe? I forget if he says anything. He
Talks
does.
about the suit. I think a little bit here, man. Or something.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Not.
Maybe
Is
not
this
here.
where it is? I think.
He initially brings up, right here. He's like, so what's up with the suit? And then I think Wolverine kind of like changes the subject or some shit because then we kind of find out the real reasoning for the suit.
Yeah. Maybe he lets on that he let all the X-Men die here. I forget though, but like a little bit of it. I don't know. He does the thing where he farts it out real small.
I think the first time we get that full reveal is with Daphne Keane, but like we learn that he is the worst one because he let people down, and we don't get the full story.
Which is
though.
a weird one because I feel like they're in the multiverse. That's not that bad.
Yeah,
you went off, got drunk, and the humans killed him. Like, first off, these mutants sucked. If you and me bust down the door and it's just Cyclops and even fucking Basketball Kid, we're dead.
Yeah,
they couldn't beat a bunch of humans.
Yeah, I think that was the one of the more disappointing aspects of it. I think I love the scene with him and Daphne King where he's explaining it, but I was like, I don't think that's any more or less tragic than any other Wolverine. The stuff that they have, that any other Wolverine would have.
When we got it from the initial conversation, and I was drunk and I came back and they were all dead, which was with Daphne, and then we eventually get Charles's sister in his mind. I thought we were going to get the reveal that like he had been hired by the humans to kill all the mutants,
Oh.
or
I
he
thought-
had been taken over by something and killed all the mutants. I thought that would have been more powerful.
I thought it was going to be a Jean Grey turned into Phoenix and I couldn't kill her and she killed everyone kind of thing.
Sure.
So
sure,
instead
sure,
of
sure.
doing that one sacrifice, I just don't. It was a lot of heavy lifting on Hugh Jackman's part. Like I really got to sell this scene because we're telling you, we're not showing you. And we didn't even get a flashback
I
to them
thought
all
we were
getting
gonna get a
murdered.
flashback of something.
Like I would have liked to have seen that, but I mean, to Hugh Jackman's credit as an actor, I was like, well, he was crying and I'm crying a little bit, so this works. But
100%. Like
But
during that sequence, I'm like, I don't know if I buy the storytelling
Right.
here, but god damn it, you're selling it to me because you're such a good actor. And him being like, no, I need to say it. I need to finally like kind of get these words out. Like, oh, powerful.
I just wish it was a little bit more less cut and dry, a little more tragic, and a little more intricate than that.
We'll
Yeah.
get there
Than just
eventually.
getting bombed out of his mind.
Yeah, because like, what's one extra mutant gonna do?
Yeah, I was like, you would have died.
It
right?
like maybe
Nah,
if you
they would've
left
healed.
maybe if you left the door unlocked and little fucking people snuck in or
Yeah,
whatever. You let the dog out.
I didn't turn on the ADT.
yeah,
I know what he was doing.
exactly.
But like, if Storm can't get it done,
You just would have died with them all. you know?
Storm's Omega
Exactly.
level. Let's go. What's
Exactly.
happening?
I watched
Exactly.
episode 1 of X-Men 97 again
course
last
you
night.
did.
God damn.
Good
Omega
show.
level mutant.
This
Come
fucking
on.
guy that
They're
hates
the
it. This
thunder,
guy
but I'm the
sucks.
lightning, baby.
They
Nick, doesn't this guy suck for not
That
liking
sucks
it?
so bad.
All of
It's
us
not
are all
even like
together
it.
on the
This guy
same
can
page.
lick my Aunt Annie.
What's next?
I think from here we meet the other Ryan Reynolds, right?
Hey, you can shut the fuck up
Why don't
because
you
I'm
shut your
recapping.
fucking
All right,
time
I was
hole?
trying to. I was
Hey,
thinking
shut
of
the fuck up.
I was
Let him
thinking how
recap.
inappropriate I wanted to go with the Ian anything. Yes,
He's
from
gonna
here
switch sides all the
we
time.
walk through a very green area. It's just, there's a lot of lovely stuff happening.
Yeah,
in the
Void kind of rocks.
Yeah, the Void we thought sucked because it looked like just horrible desert and alligator Lokis. But instead, we're here, and guess what? Like, there's this really nice grassy area. I'm like, oh fuck, hell yeah. But yeah, they're walking, and yes, what happens, of course, is Dogpool runs out of there. Just the ugliest dog you've ever seen in your
best.
fucking life,
3
right?
years in a row. The dog actress, Peggy is her name.
Yeah.
3 years in a row. Voted ugliest dog.
Nice.
Yeah.
She jumps into Deadpool's arms, starts licking the mask, or no, he's not wearing a mask here. No, he is wearing. It doesn't matter.
I think he's
starts
taking it
licking
off.
him. He takes it off at whatever point because then it's just this amazing scene of what is it? Nice Pool. Nice Pool walks out. It's Ryan Reynolds with long hair. He's gorgeous.
I
Just
love-
fucking stunning.
I love the kind of different take on the suit.
The brighter suit.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
such-
really bright, clean, shiny.
Yeah, it just reminds you of like how it would have looked in a 90s movie. It reminds you of like when the Power Rangers got their suits in their
Oh, yeah.
movie. Like definitely not as cool, but just a different take on it. I enjoyed it.
This Nice Pool character, probably my least favorite humor bit of the movie. And that's saying something because it wasn't bad, but I just feel like some of the jokes and lines and even references and like the proposal bit and like looking at the camera, like some of the things didn't hit for me. And like this was a part of the movie that I was like, I could move a little faster.
Yeah,
Oh, the
I agree with
proposal
that.
hit hard for me.
Oh yeah.
like
The only reason why I would disagree is because there's that one shot Greg was talking about where Deadpool's holding the dog and the dog's just licking his fucking mouth as he's talking, and it was the
they
funniest
kept
part.
cutting back to
It's
just
so,
yeah.
but the dog's just legit licking his mouth.
Yeah.
And he's just going through the scene with an ugly ass chihuahua licking his mouth. So good.
I don't disagree with you though. I think it was probably one of the weaker parts for me as well. I think just Dogpool in general, what really felt like Ryan Reynolds just like doing one for me, but like doing a little too much for me here. Like you could tell him and his closest friends really, really wanted to get the ugliest dog in Canada or whatever in his movie, and it kind of just felt like let's use this dog all the time, and like from here on out, whenever Dogpool pops up again, I'm never super like stoked about it. I guess I don't know. It just felt kind of like we can trim some of this down. We can trim down certainly the Deadpool montage near the end, but those are just my feelings.
Of course, from here he's like, hey, you got to go to find these other people, right? And he gives him the Honda Odyssey to go, which is in the middle of a cornfield. And he's so pissed off that he tries to
Shitty
run into the
car.
cornfield,
Yeah.
but he's like, it's too dense. The cornfield was too dense. I'm so sorry. And this is where we drive away and we get the incredible moment with Hugh Jackman, right? Where he's like, what is with the suit? And he's like, and he just lays him out in the car where he just,
Yeah, he pulls the car over.
pulls the car over and
Yeah.
he's just like, you are He's like, I can't fucking believe that I'm stuck with like you for the rest of eternity, and like the irony of it all is I want to fucking kill you, but you can't. Like you're the one person who can't die and all that shit.
Like God's cruelest joke or whatever.
Yeah, great moment from Hugh Jackman here, where again showing his acting chops, just screaming in this car, and of course he says something to the degree of all of your. I think it's like all your friends are gonna die, they deserve to die or some shit. He crosses the line, and that's when Deadpool goes, "I'm gonna fight you." Now.
What was the line though? Something about a wish.
It's
an educated wish.
Oh yeah, because he was.
Because he could get him back at any point, and like he was like lying to him, but he also doesn't.
Yeah, he was lying to him about the fact that he didn't know if they could actually restore his universe.
Yeah,
right?
so he was like, "So what the? You're doing all this without knowing if you can actually get my universe back." It was an educated wish.
What did you say?
Yeah,
and that's when he lays it. What is the line? What is the thing that Hugh Jackman says that crosses the line with Deadpool that makes him fight in the car?
It's about Vanessa leaving him.
Okay, yeah. And then we get this. What I would agree is the most creative and funnest,
just fucking awesome
fight scene in this, where they fight and they destroy this Honda Odyssey, and it ends with them, Hugh Jackman next to him, and Deadpool tied up with all of the belts in the car.
Yeah,
and then of course they're brought back.
They pass
by
out.
someone.
Yeah, they pass out there. Someone picks up the car and drives away. But I don't want to skip over this fight scene.
Yeah,
because this fight scene's amazing. Like,
I give it second. I give it second to the Them vs. Many one-shot one, but I loved this fight a lot. We can get there when we get there.
I
We can just talk about
appreciate
this one.
that. Yeah, this is my favorite by far, though, and it's just the camera work here, the smashing glass, the tight space, Deadpool going out the back, and the way he snaps his arm back into place to come back in. I forget the exact insult and I forget the exact response, but I really appreciate whatever Deadpool says of like, "I'm gonna beat your ass now" or whatever the fuck it is. Like in general, that was so good and then so creative as they fought their way through.
You know, the Honda Odyssey actually rocks, or what does he say?
But they smash, they fight, they do the whole damn thing, and then the time passes. They continue to fight. Both of them passed out in the car. One tied up. Car pulls out. There must be a cut here. We're probably skipping a million TVA cuts as Tom hems and haws about whatever he's doing.
Shiv.
Capricious bag. Anyways, so then Deadpool wakes up. This is probably one of the Thor wake ups. And he finds Wolverine. They're in a very nice place, a cave of some kind. Wolverine drinking Jack Daniels or some whiskey. I forget which one it is. I don't know where we are. Where are we? I don't know where we are, but I like it. Drinking all that, and then the
movie steps up another notch.
They come in, and again, this is another one of like, I obviously knew not all of this, but like Elektra walks in and I was like, oh right, Elektra. Like the movie's done such a good job of, this is a bad example because I'm wrong in it. But you remember back in Civil War, the first time we watched it in theaters, and I leaned over and I'm like, where the fuck is Spider-Man, right? Like all I wanted to do was get to Spider-Man because that's what I wanted out of that movie at that time. And it was that idea of like, because I wanted Spidey so bad, I wasn't even like enjoying myself through the movie. Whereas this movie, I'm having such a good time. Not that Elektra was what I was waiting for, but I kind of checked out on like anything I knew about it.
Wait, so you knew about Elektra?
Well, it's why we watch Elektra, right?
Jennifer Garner was officially cast in the movie, like reported by like a Hollywood Reporter or Variety Deadline type in 2022 or something like that.
I had no idea. I thought we were just doing like a Elektra Deadpool or a Daredevil thing.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I had no fucking idea.
Yeah, so she walks in and it's like, oh, yeah, right. And I'm like, oh, this is an interesting look for Elektra. I was like, okay. Yeah. And then, they're doing like slow-mo and they go back and I'm like, who's Blade? I was like,
it's Wesley Snipes. Blade.
They got him.
This is an impossibility. Like, this seems like one of those, oh man, it'd be so cool if they actually did it, but they won't ever do it because, there's always a lot of reasons, either licensing things or studio problems or like just budget reasons or whatever. This is a personal thing between Wesley Snipes and Ryan Reynolds. Ryan Reynolds hates Wesley Snipes.
Oh, I didn't know this.
I've
never heard any of this.
Because of Blade Trinity.
3?
They had major on-set issues. So when he showed up, I was like, damn, Ryan put everything aside to make this movie what the fuck it is, and I appreciate the hell out of that. Because that was a shock.
I had no idea about that.
I know about that. Yeah, that's crazy. And it was great to see him. Obviously he's much older or whatever, and I had a very hard time understanding a lot of his lines. I assume because of prosthetic teeth, but maybe I don't know. And then
I've never seen the Blade movie, so I don't even know.
I didn't like the super dyed goatee.
Always been on black. Oh really?
It was like, it looks like the.
How have we not done Blade in review yet?
Because eventually.
Well,
good call.
Oh, really? You think so? Anyway, I didn't like that dyed goatee. It was like way too white. It didn't. It like it looked like the same sort of beard dye I did when I like did my Rahul Kohli stuff, where it just looked like white paint on somebody's facial hair. It was a little too fake looking for me.
I was fine with it. The look I had no problem with. Then we go to the doorway one more time. And this is where I was like, well, of course, IGN, as I've jokingly, but also been like, I saw the Daphne Keane is in the latest trailer only through a thumbnail on IGN. I was avoiding it, right? I was like, oh, well, here comes X-23, Laura Kinney herself. And instead, fucking Channing Tatum walks in a Gambit outfit. And I was in hysterics. I was like, that is so good. And it's another one of like, I want to say at some point you've heard that rumor, maybe just a throwaway. I wish that this would happen. That'd be cool if that happened, but not to be expecting it and us being like, that is so.
And again,
good.
Channing Tatum as Gambit was not a rumor. It was a
no. I mean a rumor in this movie.
But like I've seen people talking about that and saying, I was like, no, that movie was going to happen.
For years, we
and
talked about that at IGN. I remember
the sale to Disney is what canned that. Like that movie was in pre-production,
and that was his baby in the way that Deadpool is Ryan Reynolds' thing. Yeah.
And
so,
I'd explain all that to Jen in the car because she thought it was just a funny thing. I'm like, no, you need to understand. Like, this was going to be a thing. Like,
he wanted this so bad.
Yeah.
And getting a Gambit in live action in the costume, man, I was just like, this is so fucking perfect.
What do you do? I charge the car. Oh, close up magic because we're going to get our asses kicked.
I freaking loved it. And then we get.
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch happening, right, that we'll get out of order here because we only had the unfortunate misfortune of seeing the movie once. But yeah, eventually, Daphne comes in, X-23, my name's Laura, which I fucking love because that's such a important line from Tom Taylor's books, right, of like X-23 being this character that really... she's fucking.
I'm not proud of that, bro.
Wolverine's
experiment,
yeah, whatever, right? And then Tom Taylor did such a great job being like, no, her name is Laura Kinney. She's the all new Wolverine, right? And like making a big deal. I loved all of that.
No, is she she's the actual Laura from Logan?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the movie, they're like, we're going to send everyone back to their realities, and she's in that reality, the Deadpool reality. Me and Kev were just slacking about this. Like, at the end of the day, the reality is the X-Men movies do not line up perfectly. We all fucking know that. But in the official eyes of Marvel, from X-Men 1 to First Class to Deadpool to Logan, all of those are now one universe, which Kev's telling me is 10-0-0-0-2. I keep saying 4. It's 2.
I would put money that it was 5.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm just a little confused, and if you guys just went over this, I apologize. No. I stepped out to go to the restroom. How did she get into the void, and why?
I mean, we don't know. Like that's
but I'm just like, that's incredibly coincidental that out of all the different variants, it was the one variant from Logan that she would have gotten sucked into the void because of. Was it because I don't know. It's weird.
No, I think what was happening is that they were pulling everyone out of the Fox universe that was going to be a problem as the universe collapsed.
Because we see the universe, like the timeline going, he's like, it might be 1,000 years before this ends. Like, she might have been TVA'd at some point for some other reason that we don't know because we didn't see that story or whatever. But clearly many years have passed.
You look at the time machine again? What'd you do it over here, homeboy?
Oh, no, I was looking if you see this universe, and I just clicked back to a random tab.
Let's watch it.
How about you watch your own business?
Because something to remember that, again,
I'm not
this is
phony in review recap, or I don't need notes.
This is dumbass fucking Marvel nerd shit that nobody cares about, but I care about. Because the TVA, all time's happening at all times. So whatever happened to her could have happened after this point in time of Deadpool's reality. You know what I'm saying? It could have been like super far in the future. It could have been 1,000. Well, she's not that old. Well, I don't know.
She aged slower.
She does age slower, yeah. So I don't know. It could have been hella far.
It's that normal shit where, guess what, everybody, this is fake and it's comics. I can give you 15 made-up reasons to headcanon why this is.
I'm the only reason I was asking because I was like, did I miss it or was it never explained? And it was never explained. It's fine.
Yeah, and it's even for me to jump to the end. I never even thought to put that together because they have the conversation about Logan staying in that universe, and I thought there was a what about her, but maybe was there a what about her or no?
I don't think so. We just kind of leave them, right? Like,
I thought they died.
I mean, it seemed like they did, but they didn't. They got sent back to their places.
Oh, missed that.
There was some line. I'm gonna watch it again, so I'll keep an eye out for this or ear out for this. But I'm pretty sure that they said something of like, we're gonna send them back to their places once because they have the sling ring thing now.
Oh, okay.
Or at the end they do.
Yeah, I'd have to watch all that. I'm foggy on that very specific thing. But it doesn't matter. Yeah, Laura's there. We had all the great stuff we've kind of talked about in random places throughout this in review. I fucking love as they're setting up all this stuff, like the going between Elektra, Blade to Gambit, right? Or just like an ending, a true ending, maybe a beginning for some. You know what I mean? I'm like, he's just like so hammering it home that he never did anything. I'm kind of this, whatever he says. I don't know. He's all the great lines about how he has like this movie never got made, so no one knows shit about him, nor does he know anything about himself. Thought that was all very fucking funny. And then again, the back and forth with Ryan Reynolds, like, who's your dialect coach? What are you saying? I can't understand.
Didn't he at some point say maybe I was born in the void? I don't know.
Yeah, all I know is I came out of my daddy's balls or whatever. Like I think he's like, God, that was graphic. Yeah, I've been doing whatever. I'm like, Jesus Christ, it was so good. It was so fucking funny. And then yeah, like I said, Laura comes down, is introduced or whatever. Right, she's who brought you home. They set up this idea of like, well, listen, here's what we got to do is like, let's go attack the thing. You didn't have all of us before. You didn't have a Logan. Let's at least save my universe. Your universes are all fucked. At least help me save mine or whatever, right? And this is an ending, a true ending, something we could be proud of kind of shit. Of course, Wolverine's like, I'm not doing this. You're all a bunch of idiots. It's not going to blah, blah, blah. He's like, read the room at one point when they're going around having this conversation. This leads to, of course, Wolverine drinking more by the fire. This leads to X-23 going down there, having the conversation with him, having it introduced.
Great
just
scene.
again,
That's got
fucking
chills.
killing
He's
it.
saying
Right?
that.
Yeah. It would have been so awesome. I hope we eventually get behind the scenes of seeing them reunited on set. You know what I mean?
That
To
would've been
be the Wolverine and Wolverine again. That's fucking so
And can you
cool.
imagine too with like Daphne Keane just being like, I got to do this incredible role for this movie that was like a fond farewell to this beloved character, and then how many years later they go, you want to come back and do it again? This is awesome.
So sick.
It's got to be cool for her.
And now, again, if I'm allowed to dream,
Dream, Greg.
Tim,
Please
and
do.
everything you set
Dream
up and
on.
talked about, like, I can't wait to, because I was thinking we'd get it here and we didn't get it. So I can't wait to get to whatever Avengers vs. X-Men, Secret Wars or whatever, but where she shows up to fight with them and like takes off her cloak and she's got it and she fucking puts up her mask.
It's gonna be awesome.
I just got chills myself.
It's gonna happen.
You know what I mean? Like I will fucking lose my shit when that happens.
I keep saying this, but it's like
I love all new Wolverine. Go read it if you haven't.
yes, it's amazing. But seeing how this movie ends, I love in a lot of weird ways, restraint they had of not giving the big hero moments or the Hulk fight or the things, because we're going to get them later. This was all about focusing on the different things like the blades and the Channing Tatum, which I thought was just excellent direction.
So anyways, they have the conversation, I'm not the right guy, right? I'm not the right guy.
I'm
the wrong guy?
I'm the wrong Wolverine or whatever it was, or I'm the wrong guy. And she's like, you were always the wrong guy.
Now, was the second line not revealed until later?
Until you weren't.
Yeah.
So that I don't know. That's why was that line ever said in the movie? Because it was in the trailer.
It was the second time. Because
Okay.
the first time around, all I heard her say was, you were always the wrong guy.
That's
And
what I
then
thought
in
she
my
said.
headcanon, the scene ended. But then, because I didn't see any of the trailers, because then later on, when they flash back to that moment, it's almost like they were revealing, hey, there was another line there, audience. And she says, you were always the wrong guy until you weren't.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe that's what it was.
That was what the trailer. So the trailer. Now that we can talk about the trailer with spoilers, the final trailer shows this moment. Like that's the one big reveal of the trailer is her saying you're always the wrong one until you weren't.
Okay, yeah. So I definitely never saw the trailer. So they said it the second time, but the first time around, I'm pretty sure she just said you were always the wrong
definitely
guy.
did.
And the scene ended.
Yeah.
Fucking cool.
We also missed a couple things that just like dialogue stuff that I just fucking loved.
Impossible to get it
when,
all in here.
Yeah, when we're introduced to Gambit and Elektra and all them, like going through their universes and stuff, and like the Daredevil.
Dude,
death
that
and,
was
like,
so good. We've lost so many this, that, and the other. We lost a Daredevil. Oh, I'm sorry. It's okay. Or whatever she says.
So
No loss or whatever.
Awesome.
I'm like, it's so
That's pretty
funny.
And then the reference to Magneto, and then making the budget joke, but also just like, cool, we're not getting Magneto here, which I thought was the right call.
Yeah. It's then morning. All these folks are in a car, the Odyssey, driving towards the Ant-Man compound again. They all see them coming. We get more lines of dialogue. We get the Blade thing here, right? Of whatever, of like, which Punisher did you lose, by the way? There's been so many of them. There's only one Blade. There's ever going to be one Blade. And Ryan Reynolds looks at as Deadpool looks at the camera. I was like, oh, it's so fucking good.
Pretty great.
They roll in.
The music hits. T.I. and Jay-Z's bring them out, and it's hitting fucking hard.
But
and
I
then
also-
they start getting the orchestra version. I'm like, let's fucking go.
I also just, I had a great laugh at the I don't know what the fuck he's saying. Just pan up to Blade. Telling the camera, like, because Gambit's saying something in the back seat that they cannot understand. He's like, I don't know. Just pan up to Blade. He's up there. So the camera just pans up to Blade outside of the moon roof, I guess, with the rocket launcher.
Yeah, they shoot the hole in. They all roll in there. That happens why. And the very end, the Odyssey's gate pops up. Wolverine rolls out.
And this is a moment that I'm wrestling with in my mind of how I feel about it, because I love the suit up moment we get later. I really love it, but it felt like it should have been here. It felt like this was like, oh, Logan's actually here. He's the Wolverine. He has the mask. We're fucking fighting. It kind of just felt like a half-cocked hero moment for what they were doing of like, we got the lineup of the squad here, and like Logan's in the squad, and it just felt like he wasn't fully committed to it. Like, I think story-wise of what they built up, this should have been the mask moment.
But until we hear the line and him accepting his and because we never got the full during that Daphne Keene scene. Is that where we get the full like I was always ashamed of wearing this suit or whatever?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he was always talking about like Scott always wanted me to wear the suit. He's like, I always gave it shit. I always like gave him crap because I really just didn't think I belonged.
I think it makes sense because I think she needs to go. Cassandra Nova needs to go into his brain in order for him to wrestle and grapple with sort of his past, and then that during that sort of brain moment, that's where we get Daphne King going, you're always the wrong guy until you weren't. And then I feel like that's where, all right, mask comes on. Now I'm not ashamed of this suit anymore.
And I'm
or whatever.
so with you, but they treated I'm actually with the team getting out of the back of the car like a reveal moment.
Yeah,
and I
you're
wish
right.
that
You're right.
he wasn't part of that then. Like if that's the case, have him show up later or something, and like Cassandra does all that stuff. But just the way that they set it all up, I just feel like that was the moment for the reveal, and then it just felt weird to have them all fight. And then this is the fight that I was really let down by. Like, love the music, love the choreographed moments. Gambit throwing the cards and exploding one by one. All this stuff was just fucking great. It just didn't look good. I think it looked bad, honestly. Like, I feel like it was hard to follow and just messy, and there was too many nameless grunts. We didn't need that. This moment could have been so much bigger.
I think maybe it was like a little too bright as well.
Exactly.
Like, I don't know. But I totally agree with you. I think the moves and what the characters were doing was super sick. I just don't think it was shot in the best way possible.
It was too much noise. You know what I mean? Where it is that thing where I think that works really well for Blade, Elektra, and even Gambit to some degree. But like for Laura, who we know and love, and like I really wanted to see her Wolverining. You know what I mean? So the few times we get it, like, oh, and then there's the one even like throwaway where she shoots it through her foot, and I'm like, all right, she has blades in her feet. And
Totally.
Like, they really didn't show this well.
My thing is the endgame final fight is ugly. Like, it does not look great. It's very dark and just kind of like, it's hard to really tell what's going on from like a broad perspective, but the individual moments, the way that the direction of the fight, I feel like is always bringing you to, okay, Iron Man and Pepper Potts are doing the circle, shoot the shot out of the thing. We get over to Drax and he's
It's a very well thought out, very well choreographed beat for beat
and
fight.
you get to see the hero moments individually. I feel like this was kind of like, oh, there's a hero moment happening in part of the frame, you know?
Well, I mean, is some of this because of the heroes that we're talking about here? Like, don't get me wrong, I fucking love Blade, I love Wesley Snipes, but I wasn't clamoring to see any of these characters on screen again. And I know that I love Channing Tatum, don't get me wrong, but I don't think I don't really care about him being Gambit in this, and I personally don't feel like he like looked the best in the suit too. I thought it was a little distracting to have him have the Batman neck where he just like couldn't turn the entire time. So I think for me it's less about the choreography, more about like the only character that I really have a touchstone here for that I care about seeing the future of is Laura. And we just didn't see much of her. She did get to cut Juggernaut's head off though, which was fucking pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Which she does, because the helmet's the MacGuffin of this fight, right? Because Deadpool and Wolverine have already gone up to assault Cassandra. Cassandra immediately dispatches Wade, then gets Wolverine frozen into the ground, right? Then goes into his head. We get everything we've talked about throughout this in review of what looked to be gravestones or whatever, and the screams in the background, and Hugh Jackman acting his ass off.
Just looking good in a white t-shirt. Can we take a second though? We got to dial it back.
We got to
dial it back to this scene by the fire, where he's sitting down and his arms look like fucking tree trunks. The man still got it.
Man,
got it.
I don't know
still
what he's
got
using
it.
to get it,
Well, I don't want to know.
but I don't want to know.
We might have talked about this, or you might have when I went to the bathroom. But the earlier in the scene in the cafe or bar or whatever it was between Logan and him about the toupee, and it's
Yeah.
like
Everybody
and
knows.
Nick, it's like is it a wig? I mean, clearly they're even making the joke
Yeah.
here, but I was
Yeah.
dying. I'm like, this is the most Nick shit I've
It's
ever
so
fucking
funny.
seen.
It's so funny.
With Wolverine, I forget what the actual kicker is that eventually cues it in of like, I don't need to stop you or whatever. Well, Laura had come up with the bag and of course got stopped by Toad. She got wrapped up by somebody's whatever and was able to throw the bag in and fall back down. Deadpool, of course, woke up, got the helmet. I don't have to stop you. He does or whatever the fuck it is. Puts it on top of Cassandra.
I love the sound cue here of Cassandra showing Wolverine like silencing the voices.
Yeah, that
is
was
the-
really good. That was really good.
cool.
That
That's
was
good.
really good. You know, all right, we've put this thing on you, and I'm gonna kill. I want to kill you. Every bone wants to kill you, but Charles wouldn't kill you. So we're gonna, save you. You'll get us home or whatever. No, I'll kill you as soon as you get me out. Why are you like this? I don't know. You know what I mean? And then I think actually that's after Pyro shoots her a bunch or whatever, and then they dispatch him for a hot second. So it's like, I take it off, but you won't, but you kill you, but you'll die, but you won't, but you whatever. Finally, they take it off. She doesn't kill him. She heals. She mentions, of course, however long ago, would-be magician came through and left his little trinket, and it's the sling ring, which is cool as hell.
Oh my god, I love this so much. I wish we got a little bit more, but that's just because I'm a fucking nerd. But it's a sling ring with the time stone and the reality.
I was going to
stone,
say there were two Infinity Stones,
which
in it,
then
right?
allows them to move through space, time,
time.
and realities.
That's cool.
What?
Holy shit, that's cool.
Which is a weird detail I totally missed. I wasn't paying attention to that level of it.
Yeah, because the normal sling ring is just gold. It's just a little gold bar, right?
Yeah, I didn't catch that there was multiple stones in this one.
I do because it reminds me of one of those little ring pops.
Oh, man, I love
Pop,
those.
you know what I mean?
But then you'd always get your saliva kind of
Yeah,
like
well,
you
your
sit it
finger
on
would
the
always-
base.
yeah.
The base of it would just be saliva like
Two
candy.
fingers stuck together.
Exactly. I'll tell you, if I'm gonna have a sticky knuckle,
You're going to go
God.
to Annie's.
Oh my god, you're going to Annie's?
asshole.
business.
Aunt Annie,
The
Aunt
fact that
Annie.
he meant to say cinnamon bun though, or cinnabon.
Cinnabon.
He meant to say that initially, but we're still just going with the Auntie Annie's or
Ooh,
whatever
kinda want some pretzels with
storyline.
nacho
I could go for
His
some
little
pretzels.
pretzel knot.
Anyways, it's interesting that there's that level of detail in the ring, but then to jump back to the very, 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 very beginning, Tim, where you were talking about how Cable's time machine shouldn't have let him jump to 616. Like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever. Anyways, she has the ring, opens the gateway for him. Here, I'll make it interesting. You have to jump in 5 seconds or whatever. Eliath will be here. Weird name. You know what I mean? Sorry to all the Eliaths listening. They, of course, jump. Eliath is coming, and they get there at the same time and go, but like we get to see everybody down on the floor, Gambit and Elektra and Blade and Laura all watch them do it. You know what I mean? Oh, also, I liked when Laura put on the shades before she fought.
Like showing this is our Laura.
Yeah.
Which,
Yeah.
I love that. And she said the line that I forget, but it's some Spanish line.
Oh, yeah.
Adios, pendejo.
Yeah.
See you later, motherfucker. Pendejo can mean a lot of things. Just a bad. You just can't say it in school.
Can it mean friend?
You just can't
No.
say it in school.
Oh, no.
It's a very, very bad
little
word.
fucker.
Pendejo means like dumbass, dipshit, bitch. It's just a lot of like mean things, all encompassing. I don't think that they quite pulled off the jumping through the portal like
Seemed far away.
like
It
they
seemed like it took a long time to get there and it seemed far away.
and
I was like,
but I thought that I don't know. By the end of it, I was like, oh, by the time we get here, it's such a lead up that there's gonna be like a big comedy beat or they're gonna hit the ground. Can we do it one more time? Like I don't know what I thought was gonna happen here, but it just felt like
Let's just treat this straight and epic, and it did not work.
yeah.
Agreed. But they land in Deadpool's universe in Layfield's Just Feet store, which is of course a reference to Rob Layfield, the guy who came up with these folks.
And
Can't
this,
Draw Feet.
I also think that this moment, like the epicness not hitting and kind of being weird, despite that, like moving on, separate kind of take on this, I am so surprised that after the trailers, after what this movie possibly could have been, the portal led to Deadpool's universe. Not the endgame final battle, not anything of all this stuff. And I'm not even mad at it because I feel like it all paid off and storyline wise it worked. But like, what a weird thing, right? Like when we first saw the trailer and it's like they're jumping through, he's going to the MCU. No, he wasn't. Didn't go to the MCU. Went back to his universe. I just think that it's like the simplest answer to something that I feel like
to how they got into.
Yeah, it's just like that portal could have went literally anywhere, and I just am surprised that that's where they went.
They land there and then right away see Tom, right? Yeah, Tom's there and he's like, "Well, get out of here." And then Cassandra shows up pretty much immediately too, and she's like, "No." And she's like, puts her fingers in his head. And she's like, "I was happy in the void, but now you're doing this shit. So I'm gonna kill every fucking universe.
Yeah.
Show me how it works." Drags him all the way down there by his head. Just fucking disturbing
It
as
looked
hell.
weird as hell.
There's the pyro betrayal at some point. Double crossing.
Oh, right. We skipped the scene where he talked to it. We did talk about him getting
You don't get a
knocked
speech.
out. And then, yeah, exactly. Then when Wolverine and Deadpool.
Well, hold on. Yeah, the pyro thing though did have a great comedic moment to me, at least, where she's like, "Fucking tell me." He's like, "We could just talk about things.
Yeah,
you don't have to
put your fingers
Yeah,
in it.
we could just talk. Why don't you ever just try to like talk this out or whatever?" And she finds out like, "Oh, he was trying to screw me over. He sent you to kill me." Got it.
Yeah. Wolverine and Deadpool are about to go back after these folks, but guess what? I didn't reference this a long time ago. There's a lot of Deadpools. So
core.
the door opens up and Dogpool comes out, right? And then Nicepool comes out. And they're like, the Deadpools are coming, I guess. I forget what exactly is said here or whatever happens. But the Deadpools are coming, and all the Deadpools come out. Lady Deadpool, Cowboy Deadpool, just a floating head Deadpool. Everyone's there.
Another thing here where it's like the amount of theories of who these people are, and it's like nothing. It was like, oh, it's Cowboy Deadpool. It's going to be Matthew McConaughey. I mean, maybe the voice was. We don't know. Like, they didn't reveal that. Like, who is Lady Deadpool? It's not Taylor Swift.
It's Blake
not
Lively.
Blake
Blake
Lively.
Lively.
Yeah.
But the voice, but we don't see her. Like, it's just it's just one of those things where it's like, it's just so funny that like the MCU community has been like the theory people going nuts over this. And it's like, nah, there's a lot of Deadpools. All comic Deadpools. But
Yeah.
I know this is your favorite fight scene, Tim. I was a little disappointed by most of this. I think it dragged on a little too long, and for some reason, I feel like the easiest way to get me into your thing is a long one shot, and it for whatever reason just didn't quite work out for me. I was still smiling a decent amount of it. I think that like the dragging Nicepool away to get his guns like could have been done a lot faster. This whole section was just like, it was for Deadpool fans and not necessarily people like me who love a lot of the MCU and understand a lot of these references, but this felt like, hey, Deadpool fans, we know you've been waiting to see this. And for someone like me, I was like, I don't give a shit about any of this. Like, but I like the shit talking about the multiverse stuff, though.
To clarify here, did not like the Nicepool stuff. Like, that didn't work for me at all. What I did like was the Like a Prayer kicking in, getting big and epic, suiting up with Wolverine with
So-
the
I mean, that was awesome.
so
and
fucking
then the
awesome.
one shot bit of them going through the bus. And I don't think it's perfect. I just think it's the best fight scene in this
Yeah.
movie. And I still don't think it's like even that high. But I loved overall like going through it, fighting all of the Deadpools and how violent it all was, and being a Deadpool fan, knowing the variants and stuff. I was like, this is fucking awesome.
I like that Deadpool's knocked out for a decent amount of it on the ground, and the camera kind of stopped following it, and you see like the Deadpool's getting up on Wolverine, and then they start getting pushed back.
Yeah, I just thought like there was so much fun here, and it ending with the big jump out of it, like them doing the pose, like all that stuff just worked for me. I'm like, this is why I love superhero movies.
Yeah, I think it was a spectacle for sure. I enjoyed that aspect of it, the bloody nature of it, the pushback, all the stuff happening. But as a fight scene, I thought it was hard to follow, and there was just so much happening that, again, that's the spectacle of it, but I liked the one-on-one car fight better. Like you said, they smashed through, though, and then unlike Nicepool, all these other Deadpools get back up because they do have the regenerative ability.
See, I think that to me is why the fight scene kind of lagged, because you ultimately are like the comic book fan, and you're like, they're all just going to get right back up. That's going to be the twist, right? So it's kind of all for naught. It's kind of a waste of a fight scene, even though it was fun and I enjoyed watching it. You get to the end, you're like, of course they're going to get back up. This is just it felt like a waste of 5 minutes of screen time that we could have gotten to the actual back.
and having it end with them all going, "Oh, Peter," and them all being fans of Peter. It just felt like they didn't know how to get out of this scene, but they knew they wanted a large fight scene for the end, and it just kind of felt like I didn't really enjoy a whole lot of this section.
Kevin, what were you going to say?
I was just gonna say, like, I do actually agree with you, but I do think that they tried to throw us off by starting with
Nicepool, yeah.
not being able to heal, and it just being like, oh, maybe that's not a universal thing. So I do feel like that moment was like, oh, okay, they're all getting back up, and then it just them throwing Peter in there to be like, oh, he fixes everything was like, oh, that's kind of out of nowhere. And
Every
doesn't-
Deadpool's got a
satisfying.
Peter.
Didn't like that. And it's so funny. There's so much I didn't like around the parts that I liked. What I liked was the choreography, camera work, music coming together with the violence of Deadpool and Wolverine and how the camera would go, follow Wolverine, come back, and keep going. I was like, that stuff is dope as shit.
And those cool creative like murders.
Yes.
Did you guys think the CG at the start where Wolverine is like kind of running and jumping on stuff looked really weird? Like I feel like they've switched to a fully CG Wolverine character. And
Well,
I
they
was
did
like,
at the end too, right? Where he's coming out of the thing. The two
where he
characters were
jumps out, and
CG.
I just thought that was like an odd place for a movie with this kind of budget.
I don't mind that so much. I think the thing that threw me off a little, and I know you guys are going to roast me for this, was I just don't like him in the mask.
I mean, it is what it is.
The mask to me, the eyes, for whatever reason, and I think it's just because
It's that it doesn't look good.
doesn't look good. And
But I
there's a
love
reason why we've never put him in the mask. You have to imagine that every production designer, every costumer that's ever done a Wolverine movie has tried to make it work, and it just doesn't work.
I think
And for
what
whatever
didn't-
reason Deadpool does, the eyes work for him.
Your
but
blowjob
the
handles.
eyes were the things that were just too big and too like circular.
Well, it's because
for
you're
me.
seeing his mouth also, I think.
Yeah, and I think it really kind of was like cosplay-y for me. And I think the other thing that threw me off was Hugh Jackman's eyes are so expressive, and he's such a good actor that covering half of it up takes those tools away from him. And so I was fine with this scene, but the fact that he wore it for the next scene, I wish they had someone rip it off or something.
Yeah,
like that.
me too.
Just overstayed
I
its
was
welcome
so
for me.
fucking into it. It's just to finally see it. I was so.
Yeah, I'm
into
with
it.
you, Greg.
I'm totally with you all. I do agree that I wish that his eyes were just showing. I wish they didn't go with the white sort of Deadpool look, but the not just Deadpool look. I know that's how he looked like in the comics and the cartoons and shit. But there were some sequences that kind of made it less cool in some moments because of how he was tilting his head, and like in those moments, I'm like, is that mask CG? And he doesn't know how this is gonna look. Like, and I know it's not CG, but I feel like there are some moments where maybe they were filming him and the angle he's at, it's just like it's in a weird way that is doing a disservice to how it could look.
Maybe.
But
I feel
don't
like
know.
you nailed it though. I feel like it really is like the Batman does it right? When you do a Batman movie, you have to be able to see the eyes. If you see the mouth, you need both those tools to have some level of expression come through this big, thick mask. But then I'm like that. But that doesn't make any sense because it works so much for Peter Parker when he's Spider-Man and you see the eyes move. I don't know.
No, but you never see Peter Parker's mouth.
Yeah, I guess
though,
that's
in
true.
that
I guess
one.
that's true. Yeah.
I guess what it reminded me of is like when they first showed off Wolverine with the shoulder pads, and then the community saw him without the shoulder pads, and we're like, "What the fuck?" And everybody did their own photoshops. That's what it kind of looked like a lot of the time. Was like a pretty proficient photoshopper.
Yeah.
Like being like, here's how he would look with the mask, and everybody being like, why can't they do this? That's what it reminded me of, and it just didn't look amazing in action, but the spirit of it. I was so
That's what I meant. I'm like, it looked, I think, bad, but it worked for this movie. I'm so happy they did it, and I'm so happy it looked the way it did because it was hype as fuck, and they did the thing, and
I
now we cannot
legitimately-
do this ever again.
And I had no idea it was coming. Like, I'm sure it was spoiled for a lot of people at some point or whatever, but I didn't know what he was doing when he was reaching back. And for that, I was like, oh, this is fucking sick. Doesn't look great, but this is sick.
Yeah, if you're gonna do any movie, it's got to be
Goosebumps.
done.
Do
A Deadpool movie
Got
because
that goosies.
it doesn't make a ton of sense, and that's what these movies do. They don't make a ton of sense.
They get down to find Tom at the controls of the Time Eater, World Eater, whatever the fuck it's called.
Time Splitter.
Time Splitter. Great game. And he's like, yo, fucking shit's out of control and she's down there now. That sucks. But so everybody's going to fucking die if you don't get down there in however many minutes. And it's matter and antimatter. So if you can bring those together, you can stop the damn thing.
Couple notes here. Loved the spaghettification that we've seen from Loki. Love the consistency there of that. This is how it looks. Like, thank you to committing
Man, I
to
should
shit.
rewatch Loki. Yeah, good
You
show.
really fucking
Good
should.
fucking
so
show.
goddamn good. I also rewatched season 1, episode 5, and the finale of episode 2 last night. But I'll get back to House of the Dragon. But I was just too hyped. I
Hot
was
D,
just
that
too
hot
fucking
D.
hyped. But the thing that I can't believe about this movie, and at the end of the day, not a big deal. They fucking got through it really quick. This whole exposition of there's two things and there's antimatter, whatever. I was like, this is fucking horrible. What joke are they gonna make? And they just don't. Like, this is just oh, we don't know what to do, so let's end the movie here. And I can't believe the writing was this bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they refer to it as the MacGuffin machine earlier, which I feel like is kind of a tried and true way of saying we get it. This thing is just generic as shit. But yeah.
But then for the amount of exposition they spent here,
Yeah.
like there was like 30 seconds of talking
Dude,
about this
I
thing.
phased the fuck out. I didn't like. I was just like, I don't know what y'all are saying. Antimatter can't exist with matter, and that you all are gonna die.
matter.
Like it just, yeah, exactly. It reminded me a lot of kind of what happens at the end of Guardians 1 of like you can't just hold this Infinity Stone, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody's got to go down there and make a conduit between the matter and the antimatter, but it doesn't matter how much regenerative power you have, you won't survive. This will kill one of you. They say, fine. They run down there. Of course, they argue about who's going to do it. Wolverine says he'll do it, of course, because Deadpool, this is all about your friends, and he pulls out the photo that he kept and gives it back to him and says, you got a universe to be in and save or whatever. And it's like, yeah, okay, thanks.
Who do I got? I got nothing. Man, this shit was so good. God damn, he's good.
As Logan goes to get in there, Deadpool gives him a slip, pushes him out. He gets in, shuts it, locks it. Wolverine's pissed.
Hits him in the head with that fucking thing.
Yeah.
What did he hit him with? I forgot.
Fire extinguisher?
Yeah. He gets in there, gets to the blue side, punches in, gets the blue fucking sweet tart rope out of there, starts pulling to the other side, and then it's so far away, you can see up there. Cassandra's almost got it. Spaghettification's happening. Wolverine's popping on the door, punching on the door, punching on the door. Of course, it looks like time's up, and what happens? Wolverine grabs Deadpool's hand, reaches out, still too far away, but clicks out the claws, goes right into it, makes the conduit. It rips through, because of course they couldn't get away with it.
You can't have a Wolverine movie without him, surely. I don't know that was actually him, though.
I think that was CG.
Yeah.
I think that
or
was
a different person.
An entire
guys,
CG
I'm sorry.
budget.
Why are you fucking ruining a
Can
show?
you all just chill out real quick? Is it a wig?
No.
Oh, sorry. There we go. That's the one. It wasn't a wig, by the way.
It was a wig earlier.
It's too bad.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Zabs, a podcast of the podcast. I'm your host, Nick Scarpino, alongside my co-host, Andy Cortez. Andy, were they real? Were these abs real?
So you don't think this was him? I thought.
No, I think it was another actor. I don't know. They looked real, but I don't think that was. Hugh Jackman through the rest of the movie. And again, I don't mean this as a pejorative because
They joke about it with the divorce.
Yeah, let the man be him. He's older, and it's hard to look like he did in Days of Future Past, which is fucking insane. But he was a little thicker in this, and even when you see him in the outfit, like his arms look big, but they were like, we're not showing his. Just focus on the arms. Focus on the arms.
Man, when he was walking to that mind place, when he had that Cassandra's fingers all up in his brain,
Yeah,
that vein in his right arm was the thickest vein I've ever seen in my life.
yeah.
But yeah, I guess I just assumed it was him.
I would be shocked if this was him. I mean,
I thought the big reveal was that, like, hey, we haven't shown you him the whole time because maybe you think he's out of shape. Just kidding, he's not.
maybe, but there was also. Do you guys remember the sheer volume of like behind the scenes pictures of him deadlifting shirtless that came out of Days of Future Past? We didn't get any of that this time. We didn't get anything of him like working out.
I don't know whether
I feel like we got a couple Instagram
Yeah,
posts.
I did. Yeah,
whether
I
it
know.
was
like
Hugh
him, like,
Jackman,
curl it as
whether it was
do some
someone else,
Pilates.
whether it was a combination of
Whatever the fuck it was,
CG or
looked
whatever,
great.
I think it looked fucking awesome. Like I feel like this scene hit so hard, and like the reveal, it's just the reveal of it being Hugh Jackman's abs. We're showing him, and that being a moment that they knew they had to do was so fucking well.
They
done.
know what their audience
Yeah.
is. It's
We got-
us idiots.
We
Yeah.
also got the dumbest fucking God. It gets me every time. The closing of the door and him being like bye, and then coming back and then being like with his head coming back into the Deadpool iconic.
I'm nervous.
Like,
I don't
coming
want to
back
die.
in.
And then,
Yeah.
he did the stairs.
So dumb.
So dumb.
Anyway, they're
Very
both
dumb.
dead.
Yeah, so of course.
Stop trying to prove me wrong. Go back into Hugh
I just want to see if
Instagram
I'm
and
wrong.
see if
It's
he's
not
got
you.
it.
I want to see if I'm wrong.
The man's 87 years old.
Don't
God, he's
worry
still
about it.
still
Till
that
you're
beard.
90. We have ranked the maps. Yeah, of course. They do the connection. Everything rips away. They're screaming. They're fighting. We see Cassandra go inside out or whatever. There's like the bar goes to 2, it goes to 3, it goes back. It's like, they save reality. Reality is restored. Hooray!
I hated the fast motion freaking out. Reminded me of like a Saw movie.
Yeah. Then the lady from the CVA.
B-15.
Sure.
She rules.
You all know her from a little film called
He forgot.
Batman v Superman. I don't
Oh.
trust me. I didn't forget.
He forgot.
No, yeah.
What was she in Batman v Superman?
She's the one who testifies in front of Congress about the framing
piss jar?
Superman. No, that's before then. About framing Superman for killing all those people.
Got it.
I
I
thought
don't think he answers to God himself.
I thought that you were. I
Fucking
thought
cinema.
I thought Tim was laughing just because of like
because it's black. and
how
white.
excited Greg was to talk about Batman vs
Yeah.
Superman.
Yeah, I mean-
she was a woman in Congress. He's just like he was so delighted to like talk
glad you
about.
asked.
Glad you asked. Real talk though, thrilled to see her in this.
Oh,
And
yeah,
I'm
totally.
thrilled to
Universe
see
building.
how it ties to TVA, seeing like the new little like logos and stuff, and like, oh, she's in control now. Like, she's in
Yeah.
a position of power. Sick stuff, man.
I also this is a complete pull it over to the side. Just while we're here, if we can just pay a little bit of respect to the DC extended universe, all right? You know
God, it
what
took
I mean?
him 2 hours to bring
The
it up.
DC cinematic,
I'm proud of
the
you.
DCEU. I saw Anthony Carboni and Sage Ryan were live this morning, and I popped in while I was driving to work or whatever, and they were talking about whatever the fuck they talk about. I don't know. But eventually, Anthony was talking about how he wanted to buy this Batman cowl or whatever, and it's a replica of the '89 Batman. And then Sage is like, well, it's a replica of the '89 Batman from The Flash, though. It's not. And there was a whole thing, and I was at a stoplight. I just typed in. I'm like, The Flash equals #1 DCEU movie, and they both stopped the show to be like, Greg Miller, get the fuck out of here! You don't believe that? Why would you say that? Come on. And I was driving, so I couldn't be like, no, according to the review.
I think about that movie way more than I should. And
Babies.
again, I enjoyed it for what it was. But the amount of times I see clips on Twitter, and every time I have to watch them, like every time I'm like, what happened to that movie? Because that shit was fucking crazy.
was a
And
fever
the
dream.
fact that '89 Batman, this movie, they're talking about showing respect to like we've got to finish their stories for characters we don't care about, like Elektra and stuff. But like they're trying to show respect to the Fox universe. '89 Batman, Michael Keaton fucking goes on a suicide mission to save everybody, but it didn't work, and everyone knew it wasn't gonna work. Like, don't do that, Batman! He just fucking crashes and explodes. That's your Michael Keaton.
They had
thing.
George Clooney in this damn movie.
Fucking
He was sad.
time. So much fun.
This TVA shows up and like, yo, what are you fucking doing, Tom from Succession? And he's like, oh, he tries to frame it. Oh, this, that, the other. My friends went down there, and he starts getting all choked up, and they died, and this, that, the other. And like, oh, how did she get out? She's supposed to be blah, blah. Anyways, of course, the friends went down there, and they died, and then Deadpool immediately was like, hello, or whatever, and like, fuck, you know what I mean? And he comes out. Did they explain how they survived?
No.
Or just
Oh, it's
They said there's two of
two
them.
of them?
because they would kill one of you.
Okay.
There's two of them.
Yeah.
Did they
Lazy
say that, or is that
powers.
just you?
No, it's just
Well,
lazy.
that's, I mean,
That's what
I don't
they-
think they needed to say it,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Two regenerative men.
Yeah, okay. Whatever. I don't mind. They haul Tom away. And then it's like, okay, cool. Is it back to the void with you or back to your universe with you? And then Deadpool's like, well, hold on a second. Like, well, actually, they almost take Deadpool out of the universe, right? Thinking he's not supposed to be there. He's like, no, I'm from here. And then, of course, Peter shows up, and they keep having these fucking like moments together. I loved that. I loved that so much.
that was such. It's funny because the Deadpool humor is so specific, and it's so Ryan Reynolds. To see other characters have it, like Pyro had that moment with Cassandra Nova that felt a little bit more like you don't need to do that. We can just talk. You know, that felt very Deadpool. But it was interesting seeing like the Loki character and Peter have this back and forth because it's like she's very much an MCU like Marvel Studios character.
Yeah,
Thinking
yeah.
about her from Loki acting that way, I was like, they pulled it off. And I was impressed by that because like that could have went wrong and that could have really not worked. But
Yeah.
I'm with you. Like I thought that was
I
fun.
thought it was really funny. Anyways, though, Deadpool's like, you know, he did save the universe or my universe or a universe or whatever the fuck it is.
It reminded me of Will Ferrell falling in love with his therapist in Step Brothers. You know what I mean? Like the whole time he's flirting with her and she doesn't like him, and then finally at the end she's just like, God, he fucking wears that Chewbacca mask so well or whatever. Like that's what this reminded me of. I thought it felt a little too out of character. It didn't quite work for me.
You know, he saved the universe. Why doesn't he stay here and send my other friends home and do their whole whatever the whole shtick is? She's like, yeah, we can clean up the void and do whatever. We can fix this or whatever. Hooray! And then you know, to Hugh, he's like, "Do you want to go get some shawarma?" And like, yeah. And I also like the bit where he was shirtless and he's like, "All right, put something on." And they give him a TVA hoodie or whatever. And I thought that was funny.
Even though the Avengers invented shawarma.
Yeah.
When they put the TVA jacket on, it was weird. I don't know if this was intentional, if it was just like a happy accident, but it looked like his X-Men 1 leather jacket. Like with the red lines and stuff, but it was clearly a TVA jacket, so maybe that was just coincidence.
They get the shawarma. They have a little conversation out there. You know, what are you going to do now? I don't know. I'll figure it out. This is the home universe now. I'll see you around. Probably not. You know what I mean? And then he starts to walk away, right? And Deadpool stops him. I forget what he says, but he just stands up maybe. I forget, but he, of course, brings him back to Blind Al's house. Oh, there was a great joke way earlier. You call her Blind Al? You know what I mean? That was so fucking funny. And then, yeah, so it's a little party back at the house, right, of Wolverine, Laura, Deadpool, and all the gangs there, yeah.
Shatterstar, Yukio.
Yeah. And eventually Wolverine's, to Deadpool's like, give me the dog, talk to the girl. So he says to her, I did this for you, even if you don't want it or anything, I did this for you. And she grabs his hand, right? Because he's finally over it. He's made something of himself here. And that's credits, right? We then get the little 20th Century Fox thing we've shit all over earlier.
I don't know why you guys are shitting on it. I loved this so much.
My problem with it was, I think, something we've talked about earlier, where, again, I feel like I've seen that before, but then I think they might have put new stuff into it. And if that's the case, the joke was too subtle.
I don't think it was a joke. It was very
and so that's
much
why
like
it was super out of place, where I was waiting for some kind of punchline to it or whatever. You know what I mean?
I think it was a sincere
the
goodbye
last one
to
ended with him blowing his own brains out on a Green Lantern script, right? Like, we're really gonna look at the Fantastic Four and be like, "Fucking see you later."
I think after like 5 seconds, I was like, "Oh, they're not going for humor here. This is like hey, we made fun of a lot of shit this whole movie, but for real, shout out to like kind of everything that got us to where we are now.
Like goodbye to the bad stuff, man. Like this is like the Jackass Forever or Jackass 3 even like credits, where it's just like, let's look at us through the ages of like all things that got here, because now it's Disney. It's all Disney. Like the Fox is dead and gone.
I'm just saying, I wish it would have ended, and then we would have gotten a post-credit scene that was humor or story. We didn't. Instead, we just ended with the actual post-credit scene. I did the whole movie off.
It's the one where he's like. Yeah, he's like,
yes. The Johnny Storm
footage,
camera, the Kevin Feige cam. What did you actually say? Yeah.
I'm so surprised that this didn't that you two on the right there are like
Looker's right, or
you two fucking guys.
Surprise middle guy.
Looker's right.
Hey, are you just a YouTube commenter right now?
Looker's right.
No, it didn't hit super hard.
Are you saying me and Greg? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
you and
still
Greg,
confused.
sorry.
So like Mike said, he was crying.
It's not that. It's just that I don't know. It's a fond farewell for a franchise that I think that I just don't look super fond. Like I don't look super fondly back on it. So it was kind of mixed emotions for me. Where I'm like, that's cool that we're seeing behind the scenes for movies that we all agree are kind of middle of the road. And the good parts of those movies really were Hugh Jackman. He carried the torch for so long, and that's what we're really saying goodbye to. But we already kind of did that with Logan, and now we're doing it again. And he's like, "Are we going to see you again?" He's like, "Probably not." I was like, "Probably not. Really, we're going to see you again." I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah. I just have we're seeing Logan again very soon.
I hear you, Kev, and there were parts of it that did make me very nostalgic. But I was like, I don't want to know.
I like legit got emotional when it
was cute.
Started going. There was a couple moments when like they had the 2015 Fantastic Four movie that I did not watch, like clips of that, and I was like, oh yeah, I guess that's part of this. Right?
I also did go to the
Watch that
restroom
one,
too. So
yeah, I mean, I like that it was not a goodbye to the X-Men movies. It's a goodbye to the Fox movies, like all like Blade and Fantastic Four and like all that shit, like Elektra and the Daredevil. Like,
why is the fire guy named Johnny Storm?
Why? I mean, that's his name.
Because Pyro was taken.
She's Sue Storm. He's Johnny Storm.
Yeah, they're both Storm.
Why are
He's
you
the Human
Andy
Torch?
Cortez?
Was his name? The Human Torch.
Why are you going to name a character Storm if they have nothing to do with
Why do
fucking
you
lightning?
fucking want it to be so on the nose all the time? People really be like, oh, it's fucking comics garbage.
Johnny Johnson. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
You're going to tell me Ben Stone got turned into the Thing? Garbage. Fucking fake.
Wait, did he?
No, he's Ben Grimm.
Oh. Fool me there. Just really throws you
Deadpool and
off.
Wolverine.
Deadpool and Wolverine, everybody. It's time for a thing I like to call RaGu BaGu.
RaGu BaGu.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the podcast within a podcast that started all the podcasts within a podcast. It's Rad Guys Talk Bad Guys, RaGu BaGu, where we rank all the villains of the MCU, Solo, and some X-Men movies as well. It's just out of control these days. Currently, we have 60 villains on the list. We rank them in groups. So we have S tier all the way down to F tier. Currently at number 1, you'd have Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. And then at the bottom at number 60, you would have Jessica Chastain and the Zelda mummies from that one movie we didn't even write which movie it was.
They're scary. That was part 4, right?
Phoenix, right?
Dark Phoenix?
Dark Phoenix.
I want to say so.
Part 4, God. This is a rough one because I don't think it's great. But I'm looking at some of these things. I'm like, bottom of B tier here, we have Icarus and the Deviants.
Well, it's always helpful for us to start with who is the villain here? Who are we actually ranking, right? So we're putting in Tom and Charles' sister.
I was gonna call him Parallax, but that's not Paradox.
Mr. Paradox.
Yeah.
Mr. Parallax
and Cassandra.
Tom and Charles' sister.
Yeah, and then assortment of Fox villains, Sabretooth, and
A bevy of them.
all the fight scenes. Were
I mean,
that.
I hear you,
Toad.
but I mean, like when you look through, we just don't do that. We don't
Juggernaut?
do that here.
I think we do. Though. I think that they definitely count for the fights against bad guys or against those people. But
So as I look here at She-Hulk, where we put Todd, Intelligentsia, Toxic Masculinity, and Superhero tropes, I should also go put all the goons she fought, all the goons her and Daredevil fought. Get fucked, Tim. We win.
Well,
congratulations. I
think
either
20th
way.
Century Fox goons.
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I also don't think that either that changes my thoughts on the ranking whatsoever. I don't even know where it would go though, because looking at this, it's pretty dire.
I think what
Bad
Cassandra.
guys are not the strong suit of the MCU.
for
I
sure.
think as I read through it, I would jump into C, which starts with Creed and Jude Law from Captain Marvel, Francis and Angel from Deadpool, Red Skull, Captain America: First Avenger, Sam Rockwell, Mickey Rourke, Iron Man 2. You get into
I want my port.
you get into the good actors, weird, shitty motivations there. I think when you get into the C tier, the Dink and the Sentinels from X-Men: Days of Future Past. Maybe I go low and C. Maybe not C at all. I keep myself guessing.
Man,
Dang.
I just talk
she
and figure it
ripped
out.
Johnny Storm's skin off, and she's gonna probably be D tier.
And the fucking
crazy.
fingers in the head.
I mean, that stuff was cool.
I mean, I thought she was more compelling than Jude Law.
See, that's where I'm at
Yeah.
too.
I put
right?
her above that for
I'm
sure.
down for. I'd be down for.
But
I'd argue bottom of B.
but Jude Law
Sure.
had the whole
Hairline.
I'm a good guy the whole time. Just kidding.
Just kidding.
When I think of Jude Law from that movie, all I think about is, and that not because it was good, bad, or otherwise, just the final confrontation he has with Captain Marvel, where he starts trying to gaslight her and
On the
she just
beach.
knocks him down. Yeah,
I'll see you on the beach.
I'm not going to argue that it's bottom of B.
Yeah,
You got Icarus
said
and the
bottom of B.
Deviants from Eternals at the bottom of B.
I like that because
At 30.
there was at least interesting fight choreography and stuff there.
I like the fingers.
And the fingers are cool.
And
Yeah.
again,
the fingers
again-
to me push it to B from C.
I thought Emma Corrin did a great job with what they were getting.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think the character itself, it's really hard to be like, hey, this is an introduction to this, and you have to be scared of me. And I thought they played it very, very well.
Which is kind of a bummer because seeing Nova's power set, I thought was awesome, and I was like, oh, cool. And we just didn't get a whole lot more of that. But her putting Wolverine in the ground, just the idea of telekinesis and stuff was so cool.
Dragging
looking.
Tom through the streets in
With-
his head.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's so fucked up.
Okay.
There we go.
So Tom, Charles' sister, and the 20th Century Fox goons will enter at the bottom of B tier. That puts them at 31, right below Icarus
bad.
and the Deviants from Eternals, right above Kree and Jude Law from Captain Marvel.
Man, I gotta rewatch Wakanda Forever. Not more.
Kind of forever.
So awesome.
That's great. Now it's time to rank the MCU. We currently have 51 entries as we start to add some of the former Fox franchises to the list. Of course, people have been asking, when are we going to do Fantastic Four or Blade? The plan is leading into the MCU versions of those movies. If they end up canceling Blade or something, guess what? We're going to do Blade a lot sooner. I'm very excited to watch Blade.
When do we prune the? At what Patreon level do I have to fucking support at with my hard-earned dollars to prune this ranking and go numbers wise? We're at a point, Tim.
Numbers wise.
What are you talking about?
I want to go math.
What do you mean?
If I have this movie at 1, it gets 1 point. If I have this movie at 50,
Oh.
and this,
Oh, you
and
want to do it like
I
a
want mathematical
fighters ranking
I
or
want
whatever?
mathematics. I'm just saying. I
I've
think we
offered
gave
you
up on math
multiple
and
times.
science.
I've offered you multiple times that we just do the snap and we rewatch everything and rank from a blank slate.
That makes sense.
Fuck, I would love that.
You would love that.
Yeah, dog.
Oh my God.
I mean, I would love.
Don't threaten me with 51 weeks of great times.
yeah.
It'd be a full year.
That'd be awesome.
So yeah, we need to rank Deadpool and Wolverine.
Let's do it. Let's put it on the thermometer for January. Then we Thanos snap in review, and then you have a cool. Nick does a cool animation where it all turns into dust and goes away.
Oh, that would
That's
be really
fucking
cool.
sick.
CG.
Hey, Kevin, put it on my remember list.
All right, this is an interesting one right here.
So yeah, the one thing we haven't, I think maybe Tim, you said it wasn't your favorite Deadpool or whatever. What the interesting thing about Deadpool Wolverine is it's one of those. It is such a great trilogy. You know what I mean? In terms of,
I think it's tied for best with Guardians.
see, I think honestly, I would put it above Guardians. I think it was that enjoyable of a ride. It was always such a great palate cleanser for what we were getting. But it is one of those of like, can you put this one above the other ones? It's a flawed argument, but so much of it matters on what we've done before.
I know exactly where I put this, and I feel really good about
Oh my God.
I think the one exception here is I think Wakanda Forever is like way too high in my mind, but I would put Deadpool and Wolverine right above Deadpool 2 and under Guardians 1 at number 16.
Yeah, I would go the opposite way. I'd put this probably at like 18, right above Shang-Chi. It's my least favorite Deadpool movie. Again, I think it's good, but I think it does a lot of stuff great, but it does also a lot of stuff that outstays its welcome for me, and I think it was a bit too long. And it just didn't hit emotionally for me.
I am so right on with Tim Geddes. Number 16 is where I would put this, below Guardians of the Galaxy 1. I enjoy this more than Deadpool 2. I think this movie succeeded so much with its comedy for me. I know comedy's subjective, but man, like so much of the humor worked when I thought, surely we'll get to a point where I'm not feeling this anymore. And I loved so much of it.
Greg Miller, take us home.
Yeah, you guys have the votes. It doesn't matter. I would go higher, and I'm trying to figure out how much higher I would go. So much good shit.
If we were to, like, we should also rank by action, because man, Shang-Chi would be like top 3 maybe.
Rank by this panel by littlest bitch. You'd be up there pretty high.
Littlest
Rank
bitch.
it.
You're a bitch.
Honestly,
Kevin has just informed me that we have crossed the runtime of Deadpool.
Oh,
yeah, we did it!
Everybody, congratulations.
I think honestly, I would put it at 9. I liked this more than Deadpool 1, but I think I like Deadpool 2 more than it's one of those. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where you get into that weird thing where the list doesn't reflect what it is. So I'd go 9.
So there you go.
Everybody,
Deadpool's at it.
congratulations.
Number 16, Deadpool.
You did it, Hugh.
We did
did
it,
it.
Hugh.
Huge.
This Saturday, it is Comic-Con. The Marvel Studios panel will be happening. I will be live reacting to it on YouTube. It will not be on Twitch, just on YouTube. I'm going to be doing this from home, trying my best to get everything going. The stream itself will not be, the panel itself will not be streamed, so I will be doing the classic thing of just pulling up a bunch of tweets from people that are actually in the room and reacting that way. If they do drop trailers, I imagine they will drop a couple. I'll react to those as well. And then the plan is next week when we're all together back in the studio, we'll be doing more coverage of Comic-Con as well. So strap in for all of that and get fucking hyped, because Avengers vs. X-Men is getting announced this Saturday.
Whoa.
And you're going to be reading those tweets.
Oh God, fucking take it away.
And then somebody's going to call you and interrupt the show. Guess what?
What?
The helicopter's on the way.
Whoa, the news is
Did
10?
not see that one
News
coming.
at 5?
Until next time, everyone, have a marvelous day.